Okay, here we go. We're gonna do a new game. And I'll let you guys choose the options. Okay, yes, definitely English. English. Game starts. Long ago, in this country there lived many magicians. Who own mystical power. No matter what kind of desires, they can make it come true immediately. However, they did a lot of bad things by using those special powers. All the people in the town are disgusted with them. I love how we're swapping between tenses on this already. At last, magicians have to move to the deep forest, far away from the town. Yes, they did. This is from Crimson Memories. But up to now, those magicians are still observing us at somewhere. That day, it was a great day. Sunshine, bright blue skies, cloudless, and the weather is within a suitable temperature. In this beautiful day, I can't help thinking of going out for some fancy entertainment. Is the music, like, really loud for you guys? Hold on. This is, like, really loud for me. We're gonna turn that down a little bit for you. Alright. Alright, so, in this beautiful day, I can't help thinking of going out for some fancy entertainment. I just only think it's really a good day for an inspection tour. Ah, this is why somebody said I have some kind of occupational disease. If the weather is nice, the horse would be in good condition, and people in the town would have good mood as well. For myself, it's a good thing that going out of the town is such weather. I felt I am really lucky. I don't know what I'm reading. This is just starting to all whatever. I drew up my back and let the horse find its way, looking around from the high area. I slowly spurred the horse ahead, while noticing subordinates' footsteps behind me. The riders spurred their horses forward. Lord Adelaide, good morning. Good morning. It seems you are very happy today. Lord Adelaide, you can come to my house for dinner at your convenience. I got a big fish right now. Thank you, but there are a lot of things, and this is even just me being mushmouth, I need to do. I will go to your place next time. Lord Adelaide. A child walks toward me immediately, and the horse stops before I react. I pacify the scared horse, then look at the child. Later on, I found an adult stood near the child. It seems he is the child's father, who pulled back the child... Oh god, this is hard. Pulled back the child with all strength. He inclined his head after looking at me. I can't... I'm trying to read it exactly as it's read, but I keep injecting words that are supposed to be there. You suddenly rushed out. That is really dangerous. Ah! I am very sorry, Lord Adelaide. I neglected of looking at him for a while. Now, I am fine with him. Are you hurt, young man? Lord Adelaide, please listen to me. I'm working on fencing. And then, could I become a knight like Lord Adelaide? He took out a small and exquisite wooden sword. It's a style used in training, which I often used as a kid. Feeling like I almost never see such a wooden sword recently, it seems that it is not like what I think. I shook my head. But keep practicing, make it possible. But boy, if you just rush to the horse and let your father worry about you, you will not become an outstanding knight. Vroom! Sorry, I am sorry. I will notice it. What is vroom? What is vroom? I need to take a swig. Who would you rather apologize to than apologize to me? Come on, young man. God, this writing is worse than Crimson Memories was. With this, I took the reins and set forward with horse's neigh. Coming from my back, I heard the apologizing words of the young boy. This time, he probably apologized to his father, who is on his side, but not to me. Oh god, thank goodness the music's gone. No wonder he is my lord. Wait, he is my lord. Wait, no wonder he is my lord. Just super handsome. I sidled and took a glance, and sure enough that the words are coming from Phil. He is supposed to be in the back of the line, deliberately ran here just in order to say these. After hearing his idiot's thoughts, I could not help sighing. Ah, Phil, do not say that I am handsome. You could also say those with grace. This is more incomprehensible. Crimson Memories, at least you can somewhat follow along. Shit, I cannot. And in our group, only the My Lord could be able to say these nice words which can resolve all problems with satisfactory results. You guys, now that you are a knight, so make great efforts to be someone else's idol. These words, you know what this sounds like? Just random fucking words strung together. Okay, I know that. However, the My Lord is so cool. Please just be my role model. Wait, what? And all that you said and did would be... Wait! And all that you said and did would be my teaching materials in the future. I don't know what that means! I don't know what the fuck they're supposed... I can't even figure out what the fuck they're supposed to be saying. After saying these words, Phil stood back to the queue. Damn it, that guy is not so bad. He is so enthusiastic and seriously, but it's hardly for him to change the crazy adoring on me, to the point. Crazy adoring on me. I sincerely hope he can make a resolution to exceed me. Even a little bit of this attitude, he might be able to do much better. It is. No, you're worried too much. Please continue to complete the inspection tour. We'd better be more concentrated. I heard someone calling me all of a sudden as I walked ahead. I tried my best to answer while moving ahead at the direction of backing to the city. The episode chimes, or chapter chimes. Oh shit, I have a bunch of stuff here. We finally arrived at the city after the patrol was end. The members of the team almost finished preparing, and they gathered at my side when I restrained the horse. Captain Adelaide, what hard work you have done. Yep, so do you. It's time to knock off. Yep, and I'm going to the training place. What about you, Caption? Caption? Did he just call the captain Caption? Let me think about it. I don't have any plans afterwards. Captain Adelaide! The chance is really slim that I'm going to train with them together. Suddenly a knight is running here. Apparently, he is not one of my team members. Wondering what the hell is going on, I saw he came to me in panting. Okay. I'm sorry to trouble you. Not mind. What's the matter? It's Commander Artorius asked you to go to his room. My father. Sorry, the commander called me? It's not the captain meeting, but called me alone? I cannot help asking out. And the knight nodded constantly. Commander Artorius Diandel, I don't know. Unexpectedly, he called me to there. That is so strange. The moment I almost called him by the usual name. Even if I called him father, no one will judge me, probably. Probably. It is well known I am the daughter of the head of Artorius. Everyone, includes people outside the city, know it. Although as a father and daughter, the dialogue between us is not much, but as a knight, it is also rare to call upon me alone. As a leader of knights of the team, he need to attend a lot of important meetings. It was common to meet him in such occasions. I see. Please convey the message to him. I'll be right there. Yes. Yeah, by the way, where is Phil Cromsh? That's his name, Cromsh? I heard he is a member of Adelaide team. Phil? Why did the Colonel call his name? The Colonel also called that one and hoped you can go there together. Huh? Have I done anything stupid? Phil was just passing by and pointing to himself to foolishly ask. I could not help staring at him, but he tilts his head to ask me, My lord, what's wrong with me? Well, How much time do you have? I'd like to ask you something, okay? The knight finished talking and left. Phil is eager to look at me and then look at the leaving knight to contrast. Although I don't know what the colonel means, the orders that he personally delivered can't be refused. I told Phil the news without dropping a word, and he was even more surprised than I had been. Wait, was that actually a Wait, hold on. Was that actually a sentence that made sense? Oh god, no. I don't know how far we're gonna get into this. I don't know if we'll get to the cavernulas, unfortunately. Walking at my side, Phil throws an uneasy glance at me from time to time. Poor. His face pale, he is breathing deeply. Indeed, as a newcomer, it's not surprising that he would have such a response after summoned by the regiment commander in person. However, it is the same for me. Either summoned alone by Father or together with Phil, it makes me nervous. What on earth caused the two of us to be summoned at the same time? I've been thinking about it since I got the news, but I don't have a clue. What their purpose of calling us there in such a hurry? I didn't want to lose face in front of younger generation, so I tried to keep the same as usual. But, in fact, I am also very disturbed. Hood, my lord, I feel so nervous. Do not say that, Phil. I feel nervous, too. I caught a glimpse of him during the ceremony, when I was joining the group and accepting words of advice. Is that the reason? My lord, you should be much better than us. You should always meet with him as a captain. Anyhow, he is your father. There is no different to me. He is more a supervisor, the head of the Knights Corps, than a father. So I am rather disturbed when we are called by our boss without knowing what he goan us to say. If you say so, I think I will get far more blame from our boss than you, my lord. Phil lowered his head resentfully, but it is indeed difficult for ordinary people to make sense. Thinking about this, I give up to explain it. His father seems to run a store in the city. I think that he surely could not understand this ambiguous position. Just wait until he... oh, God. Lily, if you played like the other ones, it's basically he's the sweet, sweet, sweet guy, and then all of a sudden when he just... You know how it goes with these games. All of a sudden he's Mr. I'm taking what I want. Return to the topic. What's the hell that he is going to talk to us? It is okay to call you, my lord, but he should ask to carry me. I have not done anything yet, right? What? You mean you will do something in the future? How dare you say those words in front of the boss? Wow, no, I didn't mean that. I just entered Order of Chivalry. I've never done anything that worth praising or to be reprimanded yet. Just kidding, I understand. Looked at Phil is in a hurry-scurry and begin to explain, my mouth slightly up. What the fuck is hurry-scurry? He accidentally eliminated my nervousness. How do you accidentally eliminate some... Oh, fuck, whatever. Although no sense of tension is not something worthy of praise, at least it saved me now. Phil was still struggling to explain. To make him calm down, I patted him on the shoulder gently. Can we just get to the fucking good parts? However, he still kept talking on end whilst arriving at the destination. It was not until I pointed at the room's door that he finally shut up. It was different from usual household. The door was decorated with elaborate ornament, and this clearly showed that people living within the room had different social status from us. I breathed in a sigh in front of the door. Without noticing, Phil had already fallen behind at some point, posing a stiff look at me. Pretty much. He should be shown some he should be shown some my lady's demeanor. I don't know what the hell that means. Sorry, oh, Jamming Cat. Sorry guys, the other game ended. I played 20 minutes of it and it was over. So we're just reading some really bad visual novels right now. Okay. So I took back my eyesight and knocked at the heavy door. Soon the reaction was heard from inside. I then put my hand on the handle, steeling my heart, and with a creaking sound, the door was open. The views of interior decoration is totally different from what we have seen in the room. The exquisite carpet makes me feel that you don't want to step on it. You don't want to step on it. Okay, I like that one. Finally, I held back my thinking and walked in. Feeling like step on cotton, then saw the target person who stood with his back toward us. Certainly he is my family, but I'm still not used to his dignified figure, and I get frightened unconsciously. What's more, Phil looked very pale standing after me. He is even more afraid. I tried to make my voice clear. You wanted to see us, Lord? At last, he turned around when he heard my voice. Knight Commander faced us. It seems his eye can see through us without mercy. He has retired from military service very early, but the shine in his eyes has not declined at all. Look at his eyes, even if we have not made any mistakes, but could not help feeling guilty. Even I did. Phil was more embarrassed. Though I could not see Phil's face, it's easy to imagine. I made resolution. I need to calm down, even though I just look like calm and composed. Father definitely did not know what I make up my mind. When he saw me, said, "You here. I'm sorry to call you all suddenly." "No, it doesn't matter. What should we do?" Actually, I want to ask you something to do." "Take it easy. Don't be so nervous. I am not going to scold you." The last sentence he said were not aimed to me, but to stiff Phil, who stood behind me. Phil responded haltingly. I felt he getting more afraid than before. Was I the only one who think my father's comfort could cause terrible result? "Recently, there is a strange merchant near port. I want you to make inquiries." "Merchant? How?" "It is said he make a live by selling drugs." Okay, so he makes a living selling drugs. "We don't know where his drug came from. We don't know where his drug came from, but the drugs he sold has cured a lot of people. Some diseases that doctors cannot do anything about it, but his drug make patients recover soon." Hold on a second. He's curing people? He is curing people? And they want me to go take a look at it? What is this shit? That's so... Sounds like magic. What an outmoded metaphor. Magic? Is it so amazing? Could be described as magic? The information from Father was so wonder, and I doubt it in my mind. However, I thought there is no need to ban such a good drug. Or they wanted to find out this merchant and let him be the exclusive merchant in the castle. If you can do it, that would be great. But this merchant is not an ordinary person. That means trespass? It's not clear. The pathway to enter our country is formal. At least we did not know the existence of drug at checkpoint. Decades ago, our country, Kingdom of Fort Killia, had experienced a war. Therefore, the border inspection is very strict. Native have special passport for exit and entry, and the foreigner have greater scrutiny and inspections. Let alone merchants need to declare the commodity one by one. There is no way to sell goods without permission. That meant if his commodity is not to be recognized, the merchant is illegal. But in this way, why he is still beyond the arm of the law? They sound like idiots. They talk like idiots. Merchant, especially for druggist, they should be found quickly by citizen, and then the citizen would report to officer immediately. Maybe those drugs really have curative effects. It has the same effect as magic with lower priced. Therefore, that is why people don't want to give up. Hold on. They're pissed. He's pissed that they're getting cured for cheaper? Is this game basically a knock on the pharmaceutical industry? Because of strict censorship laws, those people who come to our country are only those merchants. Those merchants are a frequent visitor. They all have exclusive passport, and this way make them become more common in this arena. If there has a new face from them, our citizen will notice him at once. Nevertheless, I can understand what my father said. Unfortunately, the social status of knights in our country is very high. We have reasons to defend our land. Many excellent doctors and druggists are concentrated in this castle and become part of the knights' exclusive secret service agency. Seriously? Lately, somebody had heard this news and even coming direct to talk with us in the hope of becoming a member of Castle's exclusive service agency. It seems like they're running a fucking racket here, you guys. That means the phenomenon really existed. Our citizens despites those people who lives outside the castle. And if a merchant can sell such miraculous drug to them, even though he is not be legal, the citizens still willing to pretend ignorance. I really comprehend their mentality. Fuck. But this does not mean we can regardless of their okay. But this does not mean we can regardless of whether he is legal. Maybe he will sell some dangerous drug after he gained the trust of people. He didn't pass any inspection. That's why we have to doubt him. Is there anything suspicious? If it was the amazing drug like the magic, it would certainly be able to pass through formal application. I see. We cannot do nothing about them. Aha. Please. I hope you can set out as soon as possible, tomorrow or the day after. Is it okay? Yes, we will set out tomorrow. Detailed documents will be ready by today. Then thank you, you two. No problem. Wait a moment. My father just finished, Phil shouted anxiously. Wait, did Phil shout that Never mind. My father thought if he had any questions and looked at him. So did I. Phil looked at me, then looked at Commander with a surprised expression. He seemed to be saying, "Why do you guys look at me in that way? You two guys? You mean Lady Adelaide and me? Is there anybody else except you? But I am not just nobody. You just gave me such an important task. How can you be a knight if you always stay where you are? You can take it as a good opportunity of practicing. But, Phil." I called Phil. He finally stopped arguing and shut up. While he was still looking at me and tried to say something, I ignored him and turned to my father. I will leave it to you then. Please set out tomorrow. You must be careful. Report immediately if you get any news. We will. Then we'll just leave. Okay. I made a salute in front of the door. Phil followed me in panic. I took Phil's stiff wrist and dragged him out of the room. The door was closed with a bang. I turned and left. Phil also hurried to catch up. Wait a moment, my lady. Wait, why is he calling my lady when everybody was calling her lord before? Why did you say yes to it? Shouldn't you tell the commander that this mission is too difficult for this guy? I hope so? Or you hope so? If I was told face to face, I would probably be very sad. Well, this is not the point. Damn it, is there any other problems? You were recommended by the commander. You should be proud of this. It is really something to be proud of. It's true, but I was just came here, and I am not strong enough. I don't know if I could help you, sir. Phil hesitated in speaking, and kept talking. This was really not him as usual. I could not help taking a sign from his coward look. And it did not escape Phil's eyes. He started to make some noise. How many times do you want me to say, Phil? If you are unwilling to go, I can tell the commander you are such a loser and moron, and you cannot even help. Please get me someone else. I told you that I would be sad, but you kept talking me as loser and moron. What the fuck is going on? Are they getting into a fight here? Looking at Phil, who cried out a lot. I didn't know how many times I had sighed. She's actually kind of a bitch. Even if being self-modest to this extent, he was very annoying. Forget about it. I had to give him some confidence. If investigating the city, there is no way that a bunch of people would act together. Do you understand what I mean? Oh yeah, if a large group of knights showed together, that would be too obvious. Yeah, then the selection of people is very important. If someone was randomly sent to carry out the task and then failed, it would be a problem if the citizens know about it. I? What is it, the I? Let me think about it. Then send the elites. Select the formidable people as good as possible to carry out the task. That's right. Although it's a speculation, the reason that the regimental commander chose me is probably that I am always standing by. However, he would be worried if I was going alone, or going along. So he sent another one. So he chose you, who are in a team with me. Is that so? You are the most aggressive person in my team, and I also think you are the right person. It seems like I am wrong. What? She just said that he was the right person. I tried to be regretful to say that, and Phil moved his eyebrows. He seemed to be annoyed. In a while, he quirked up the corners of his mouth. Soon, Phil recovered to the usual smile, and there was a smile on his face. Wait, he recovered to the usual him, and there was a smile on his face. Since my lady said so, I can't agree more. Although I don't know which step I can achieve, I will fight my life to protect my lady. Ah, such a talker. My lady, just trust me. Yeah, he will be smashing her next week. Suddenly, Phil was full of energy, and he ran in the corridor. It was a good thing to be motivated, but being too conceited was another thing. If I knew he would show off, I'd rather not to say. Well, that had to be better than the upset look, right? I looked at his glowing back and asked him where to go. He replied that he was going to training. He was indeed a practical lad. I thought and I was walking towards the training field. Oh shit, are we done with this chapter yet? Fuck. Can we just get to the fucking wizard? Can we just get to the wizard fucking, actually? No. No, seriously not. Okay. After showing up in the training field with Phil, I, as the captain, thought of the task and walked in the corridor of the castle. There was material of the task for tomorrow in my hand. This was just sent to me by my father. Although he said it would be ready as soon as possible, he was efficient as always. My father and I belonged to the Diandale family. There were knights from generation to generation, and it was a distinguished family. In the books of the night school, I often see the names of my ancestors, and even compared with them, my father is still outstanding. Now he is the head of King's Knight Regiment and Kingdom of Fort Killia. But there is only one child in Diandale family, and she is a girl. That was a big problem at that time, although it was only until now that the gossip stops because I became a knight. So far, I have been through difficulties and obstacles. Because of this, my father is very strict with me. My father often teaches me that there is nothing to do with gender. What my father said must be right, and I never doubted his words and became a knight as he expected. Thus, that created what I am now. Oh no. Hugo's in here. Hey Hugo, send me some Doritos. That'll make me feel better. Thus, that created what I am now. When I was young, I wished to become a great knight like my father, and I've always been working on this goal. To be honest, I'm really glad that he gave me such a major task. I looked into the files. Although the information identified at this stage is listed above, it was still insufficient. Besides, it's all originated from rumors and lack of reliability. It seemed that this task is more difficult than I expected. I think she's just gotten she's basically got reports about the wizard that's been selling his medicine. So I just told Phil that it's a task made for a few elites. That's exactly one of this kind. It's not much of an expedition, but I haven't accepted a task calls for a long journey for a long time. And this time I had to lead my lovely fellows. I can never be too careful this time. We would leave tomorrow. It's better to get ready now. Check out the equipment first, and then check the horse we just ridden. Thinking and walking, a familiar face appeared at the front corner. What a coincidence. I stopped. That guy noticed me too. He opened his eyes wide in surprise and immediately recovered to the normal sour look. And, as usual, said in a sullen voice, Adelaide, what can I do for you? No big deal. Same thing as you do. What? What type of answer to that question is that? Before my voice had died away, he, Uthia, looked at me and smiled with a hissing sound. Uthia Langardun? Is that how you say his name? Langardun? He is the third young master of Langardun family, which bears the same fame and honor with our Diandale family. The master of Langardun might be working in a castle right now. He used to play an important role in the King's Knight Regiment, and I heard that he's close with my father, who also is a member of the Knight Regiment. Thus, both families hoped that we could get along well as contemporary. Who's W? W lived not far and studied at the same school. It's also because there's less night school. We should be childhood sweethearts. But our relationship was not that close. No, it's not our relationship. It's that Uthia unilaterally refused to get along with me. Uthia hates to become knights with me, who is a girl. He has been competing with me since we were little. He takes pleasure in contradicting with me all the time. Along the way, we have all served as the team leaders of the King's Knight Regiment. Standing with me in the same position again, he must not expect that coming. Not to show off, but I graduated with top achievements from night school. Totally. And Uthia ranked the second place. I am the least person he would like to lose for all the time. He must be not reconciled to it. Oh God. After entering the Knight Regiment, he looked at me as a thorn in his side. Therefore, I thought our relationship is not so much like childhood sweethearts, but opponents. That would be proper. Of course, I never expected that. Although I'm willing to get along with him, his completely hostile attitude really made me uncomfortable. Holy shit, that actually made sense! I remember we used to hang out together at old times. Now his posture makes me feel like it's just in my dream. Look at you, being absent-minded. Poor fellows. Is that so? If that's the case, then I will be leaving. Every time we meet, I always get prattled on. Even I want to refute, but I'll take it. If Uthia hates me so much, too, then don't bother talking to me. Well, always interjecting in any conversation like this is so annoying. Hold on, I gotta take a second to get a drink. There's no way I'm getting drunk with all this much reading. Okay. Only if I turned around and quickened my pace before I caused any trouble and left here, I didn't have to listen to his angry words anymore. Wait, Adelaide, I heard. You had been called over to Commander Artorias? Are you in any trouble? The speed of passing on a message is so fast. I turned around and saw Uthia with a face of victory. You must thought I got rebuked. No wonder, I thought so when I got noticed. But actually the commander handed the mission personally, a mission that is so important to me. What would he say if he knew? Even it's reluctant. We should know it by tomorrow anyway. I would definitely get prattled on again. Anyways, let me bluff this one out first. Unfortunately, there is nothing funny like you think. I heard you were called with your men. Oh, the one that got ranked. Wait, hold on. The one that got rebuked was? Oh well, it's not easy to have such incompetent inferior. I am not talking that bad yet, okay? You just love the fact that I was completely slurring like crazy in that Quiet Man stream. Birds of a feather flock together. Holy shit, that's another thing. What kind of captain leads what kinds of inferiors? Hey, I really think it's getting a bit annoying. Making fun of me is enough. Even Phil was lugged in. But talking back is exactly what he wants. Calm down, I tell myself while I'm looking for the right words. Yeah, right. I was to praise Phil so we were called in. Should be thankful that commander like me have a lot of great inferiors. Glad to hear that. Then let your men wipe your butt for you. Seriously? He just told her that he wants to let her men wipe your ass. I need more booze. I was so drunk, but I was taking shots. Okay. You don't have to tell me. I will do it. Why pissed that I didn't fall into his trap. His face was contorted by the anger. Shit. I think this is it for today. I am thinking while I am looking at silent Uthia. I had to get ready for tomorrow. No time to waste. Sorry that I had to get back first. I walked back as I was thinking. He called me again. What is that? What file? He really found out. Uthia's sight settled beside my hands. They are the files about tomorrow's mission. I quickly put it away when I saw him. Seemed still too late. He had viewed most of them. Apparently, Uthia's forehead furrowed. Apparently. The expeditionary mission? You were called by the commander for this? Kind of. Damn it, why is it you again? Well, nepotism's a thing, you know. He mumbled. Uthia stared at me viciously. I knew it would become like this, so I didn't talk about it. I checked back the sigh, turned to mumbling Uthia, and said, That's all. I have things to do. Can I leave now? Don't blacken Knight's name, and do things that disgrace the Knights. I know. Just try to be careful and go. Fucker. Seriously. After Uthia finished his words, he disappeared from the road I just came with messy footsteps. Anyway, he seems to still have feelings for his childhood friend. Those words for him are actually showing consideration for others. I found it only recently. You know what, bitch? No. Fuck him. No, don't fuck him. But in his words, that meant I would never win if you died now. Even so, it is rare to see. I will understand it with appreciation. Staring at Uthia's back for a while, I set out again. I don't even know who I should go with. I just don't know who I should go with. I don't like the wizard. Actually, the wizard's route's pretty stupid. Actually, it's boring. Well, they're all boring. The next day, when sun is not up completely, I found Phil in front of the stable. I knew it was him, though I was in distant place. He stood there stiffly and was unsettled. Phil suddenly raised his head when I came to the stable. After figuring out it was me, he picked up the daily kind smile. Good morning, my lady. Good morning. Have a good sleep last night? Yes, I am fully reloaded. For today, I went to bed at 9 last night. That is fine. Obviously, the cold feelings still linger in the air, but Phil's face got really red. No wonder. This was the first time that he could conduct an expedition. Let alone investigating the illegal merchant. Let him take it easy. That was really different. We are about to set off though the day is dark. So hopefully we can hopefully we can get there. Yeah. Ah, good. Good what? Probably, for cheering up, Phil instinctively made that sound. For sure, this fella is so adorable. Until he becomes a freaking... whatever. After noticing me, Phil stared at me timidly. He smiled at me. I know, reloaded, right? Don't be that nervous. I am following you. How about taking this as a practice? Ooh, it is because of following my lady that I could not calm down. It feels like an examination. Haha, it's true. But don't take it seriously. It's just the same as usual patrol. It's alright. Moreover, in front of thee, my lady, I don't want to behave too bad. Did you just say something? No. I say nothing. He seemed to be muttering something, but I didn't hear clearly. When asking him again, Phil shook his head with a red face. Was he talking to himself? That is okay, so let's go. Why is that special period a special dot? Are you ready? Yes, everything is ready, Phil replied hastily. No, he was more nervous than I expected. I patted on his unprepared back. He was surprised, turning around and looking at me. I leave my back to you. Is it okay, please, Phil? What's up? Did you just talk about it yesterday? No, it's not. Of course, I'm serious. I will try my best. That's it. Well, let's go. I jumped up and mounted the horse. Today, my beloved horse will work hard again. I gently touched its neck. It proudly gave a snort. Looking back, Phil was ready too. Our eyes met. Phil nodded at me honestly. We pulled at the reins and spurred our horses. In the morning mist, only the sound of horses echoed quietly in the town. Oh, God. Well, I think we're finally getting to the wizard. At least we're going to get some action. Not that type of action, but there's going to be some shit happening. It was nearing an evening when I arrived. After I referred to soldiers in garrison nearby for information, it was late at night. It is midnight now, a little too much talking. Even it is safe around, but the darkness still makes me uncomfortable. The scattered streetlights and some people's doors and windows glimmer, and I live with Phil in the hotel. Wait, she lives with him in the hotel? It is completely dark. Yes, no way, then start investigation tomorrow. Agreed. That is the way to the hotel? As the knight said, it should be around here. Ah! Only rows of houses ahead. Anywhere like hotel cannot be found. Damn, get lost? However, it was too dark around. No visible road signs there. Even I wanted to ask directions, but there is no people walking outside at this time. Forgot it. I need to get up early tomorrow, so I'd better to go to bed early. Ah. So, even I will bother someone, but I can only find a house to ask the way. When I am thinking so, I heard Phil's voice. Oh, my lady, there is a man. I go to ask the way. Shit, fucking Phil. Phil pointed to that way and ran over there immediately. Just as Phil said, a man was indeed there. That man wore dark-colored robe, covered his head to toe in the dark, almost melting in the darkness. But why? He was still there at that time. No, I was also here, wasn't that I? I was also here, was not I? That person should have something to do. However, even he needed to go outside at night. God, I gotta blow my nose. At night. Did he have to wear the clothes in that color specially? That is completely for invisibility. I got some inexpressible anxiety, and when I tried to stop Phil, that man also moved. Oh no! When the shimmer was reflected under his robe, I called hurriedly. Phil! Phil turned around when he heard me. Are you kidding me? That figure waved something with silver color and rushed straight to Phil. Phil watched me in surprise. I have rushed out while I was calling him, then given Phil a hard push. Phil falling down with his eyes open, and the figure waving lethal weapon and rushing to me were fantastically becoming slow motion in my eyes. But actually, that happened in an instant. Phil fell to the ground with a bang when his armor hit against the ground. However, that man did not wave even 1 second. His target was changing from Phil to me and aimed at my throat without any hesitate. As it is hard to dodge, so I jumped into his arms. Seriously? She fucking jumped into his arms? My lady! I felt cold on my neck, and the next moment the knife was at my throat. Suddenly, sharp pain. I looked down. The ornament of the dagger against my neck is pretty beautiful. The man had got away before I got rid of it. The dagger being pulled out, even in the dark. Only it specially dazzles bright somehow. I used one hand to stop the bleeding wound, and the other hand to taken my sword around my waist. A third voice other than Phil and me was saying, Covenant made. Soon we found that this voice was from the man wearing the robe. Well, do you fucking think he's got a fucking... Oh my god. Alright. A young man's voice. His voice was abrupt with this occasion, but made my head numb. I did not chase him even he was unguarded. It is not just because I got hurt. The man's words made me feel foreboding. Covenant. He said covenant. Why this word appeared here? The man raised the robe and showed his face after he shouted. Matching with his voice, he is indeed a young man. We should at same age, or he is a little younger than me. I think it is okay to call him youth. But as a young man, he looks sickly and reeks of illness. In his expression, the smile is crazy rather than happy. Make my body with this blood. Give you chains. Give you death. Like echoing his words, my wound ache intermittently. I known I have to stop him, but I am obsessed with the dagger held by him. The blade stained with blood. The blood is like a living thing squirming, then absorbed by the knife disappeared. I saw it with my own eyes. At the same time, I felt that the wound is burning. The hand pressing against the wound felt something wrong. I cannot help taking back the other hand from the sheath and touch my neck. I confirmed at last after repeated touch. Even it is incredible, but the wound disappeared. The flowing blood stuck to the wound, but the cut made by the dagger disappeared. Though the wound was somewhat aching, but the sense of cutting disappeared. What happened on Earth? The phenomena, one by one, cannot be connected, but still disorderly remains in my mind as truth. Maybe the brain was muddled. I still remain in C2, without any action. Oh God. But I was the only one who did not move in all people present. Gwang. This is the sound of armor. Gwang is the sound of armor? Before that, my eyes turned to the direction of the sound. There is something rushed past me. That was rushed to the man in vestment, who was still frantically laughing. Ha 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 ha! That figure just was Phil. He roared, draw the sword, and rushed to the man. What was the guy doing? How can he rush without planning when faced an uncertain opponent? And he indeed intended to kill him. But how can this kind of person who looks very strange at a glance be simply killed? Don't understand? Moron! Phil was very excited. He is not calm at all. But before that, I stopped it. The man moved. The man reached out his hand from the heavy vestment. What? Dude. With the call of a cry, there was an unfounded fireball appeared in the man's hands. There was a big fireball, as big as someone's head, floating in the air, and then suddenly bounced like a ball and aimed at Phil flew out. I almost scared out. It's too late to fly out with this distance. Just as I thought the fireball would hit Phil, he quickly faced the man and gave the man... Wait. Okay. He quickly faced the man and gave the man a sword defense. Split the fireball with the pop voice. With the flash of light, the fireball accidentally deviated from the track and disappeared. What happened? That's... what? What did that man do? I thought about the confused question again and again. At that moment, Phil again waved his sword to the man. The man's surprised voice was almost cannot be heard. The next moment, with a loud voice bang, both man and Phil fell to the ground. Phil crushed the man with his whole power and put his sword against the man's throat. You bastard! Came a low voice from the air. Hard to imagine it was made by Phil. What did you do to my lady? To this man? Ho ho! Who knows? What do you think I did? Don't joke! I only heard the bang voice and the man's groans. Maybe Phil exerted his strength on the sword. If it continued, Phil would really remove the man's head. When I realized it, it was almost a reflex. I shouted, Phil, don't! Say, what the hell have you done to her? If you want to kill, just kill. Just, you will never know what I have done to the guy. You bastard looked down on me, huh? Stop, Phil, he's sail right! Finally, Phil looked at me. Phil turned and continued to make the sword against the man. He looked like almost crying out, and I just noticed it. Why you looked like that? When Phil saw me, he put on a look of crying. Didn't know where was the momentum just now. Because my lady, you, nearly was killed by this guy. Calm down, Phil. I'm fine. The cut, I don't know why it healed, and nothing now. How would it be, my lady? Don't you be hurt just now? I did not understand it, but it was good. And I will not die due to this hurt. Come on, put the sword away, Phil, but be careful not to let this guy run. Phil thought about it when listened to me, and then he put the sword away. But he still pressured on the man. It seemed that he understood the meaning what I said. Cannot let him escape. I walked to him. The man stared at me with pleasant look. It was getting weird. He can even laugh under this situation. You probably said that I can kill you any time. Unfortunately, we are not about to kill you. Excuse me, I have something to ask you. You may be required to follow us. You guys, for real, this Master of Night has such a cool mind. If you are furious like this fella and then kill me, I will be relaxed too. For this reason, I cannot kill you for better or worse. You were so naive to flee this through death. The man got shocked after I said that and frowned immediately, looked sideways at me. I got shocked when I finished my words. But amazingly, I did not regret for that. I must be more angry than I could imagine. This is not because he hurt me, instead because he made the adorable elder reveal that kind of expression. Phil, bring this man. I will bring him into the castle. Quietly, Phil stands up and dragged the man up. I should have called those knights who guarded here. The reason why I didn't do this is that something in my heart told me that I cannot make this widely known. Everywhere, people complained about the special treatment of knights. Those who tried to murder the patrolling knights were not rarely seen. But for no reason, this man, I think, is different. He was not for this reason. Besides, temporarily, I thought that the better the fewer people knew this. If we set off now and speed up, we could return the castle by morning. It was better to avoid all the people and bring him right in front of my father. While walking, I looked back and found the man who was looking at me too. Although he was a bit angry when our eyes contacted with each other, he smiled again with that weird look. This fella, what has he done to me? And the magical art that's summoning the fireball with bare hand. There were many things I must inquire from this fella. So we must return to the castle as soon as possible, and reported this thing to my father. This is very wordy. Under the moonlight, we once again stepped onto the road that we took earlier. Oh, I'm gonna have to go blow my nose at this grate. Alright. Spurring the horses all night, finally we came back to the castle in the morning. It was about the same time as we left yesterday. Although I stayed up all night, I didn't know why I was not sleepy at all. On the way here, I became more and more sober. No, the reason was obvious. What just happened ran through my mind. On the horse, I thought about it. Looking back and forth, I looked at Phil spurring the horse behind me and the man behind him. Phil let the man ride with him in order to keep an eye on him, while the man just sat on the horse. Only the wrist was tied by the rope, but the man followed our orders obediently. I thought he would continue to resist. I was a bit surprised, but it was easy for us to do things. From the beginning, the man didn't utter a word. He just shook with the horse silently. So did we. I had many reasons. Phil had his reasons. We were both immersed in our own world. We crept into the gate, tried to go to the stable without making a noise. It was not even one day, but I felt it had been a long time. In these dozens of hours, it happened too many things out of touch with reality. I tied the horse. I rode the horse almost all day. I gently touched its back. It narrowed its eyes, comfortably leaning toward me. If I could, I would really want to go on like this. But it couldn't be like this. So although it was regrettable, I still left. Because we came back earlier, there was still nobody in the castle. But we didn't know when we'll meet someone. We walked faster to the destination, the room that we received the task from the head the day before, yesterday. It is the special room for the head of knights of each generation. Now it is almost my father's private room. God, I'm getting tired. If it was not here, it was probably in my father's real private room. But it was more likely to be here. Actually, it's not the place that we can enter at random, but this time I had no choice. Making sure there was no one around, I knocked the door. I was wondering if he's still sleeping. Soon I found myself worried too much. Father's voice peeking through the door. Who is that? It's me, Father. I'm trying to get to it. What? What do you want at this time of the morning? And I heard you went out to investigate yesterday? Yes, but there were some problems. I don't want to catch attentions. May I come in? Sure, come in. Father said it with a tentative tone. Other times I will just leave if I saw him showing a bit unwillingness, but I couldn't care about so much under this condition, so I pulled on the doorknob. The door was opened. Phil led the man inside. I looked around, went into the room, and closed the door quickly. Father started working this early in the morning. He was sitting on the chair writing papers, works, and after he saw that man, Father stood up immediately. After he realized he couldn't keep us working, Father casted his eyes at us. This man is... We found him in the town we investigate. I'm afraid he is the merchant. Huh? Right after I said that, Phil looked at me with the look of surprise on his face. How fucking dumb is Phil? Seriously. Didn't you realize it since you brought this man here? The man he caught started laughing after he heard my words. Oh well, what an ingenious brain you have. Is that true? I'm just surmising. Maybe he wanted to draw us out. So he pretended to be the suspicious merchant. The knights have to go investigate after they hear the news. I looked at the man. He laughed jubilantly. Seemed like surrendering, holding his both hands up high. Oh damn. I thought you brought me here because of your injuries. And that's not the case. You are outstanding. What did you say? I said your guess is correct. That's how it is. Like you said, I don't want your money. People with weird costumes are accustomed to selling weird drugs in town. I think the knights will come sooner or later. So, my lady was your target all along? Not exactly, though. Any knights will work. You two. Don't you remember I was aiming at you at the beginning? But I am happy that I miscalculated you, our Lord Adelaide. After he suddenly said my name, I was weakened. Have I ever told this guy my name before? No, I haven't. Phil called me my lady. Father almost never calls me by my name. I've never chat with him before either. Then how the hell did he know my name? Didn't you realize you are pretty famous? The brave dame. I have not been here for long, but I hear your stories a lot. Then you had your eyes on my lady? I'm telling you, I said no. You are such an idiot, not like her. But look at this guy. Not only the citizens in town, but your inferiors admire you a lot, too. That's better. You wretch. What do that mean? Calm down, Phil Crumsh. Ugh, sorry, Commander. Phil was angered by the man's words and was almost choking him. Father stopped him. After hearing Father called his name, Phil let go of him unwillingly. Looking at dejected Phil, the ghost of a smile played around the man's lips. I just remembered. What did the man do to me? I completely forgot because it was not hurting. I put my hand on my neck and touched the wound. But no matter where I touched, the wound seemed disappeared. After the man finished his words, Father noticed something, so he looked at me. What happened? My neck was gashed by this man. What? But I don't know why my wound's healed. It's not hurting now. What do you mean? You just said you have been gashed. Yes, I was, but this man used some strange spells. I can't hold it anymore. I was not even finished. The man laughed out loud. His both hands were tied up, and Phil took in the slack rope, and man bent over and burst laughing. What's so funny? Of course it's funny. Because you are so relieved when you realize the wound is gone. What an idiot. How can nothing happen when you got stabbed? You did something to me? You bastard! What did you do to my lady? My lady? Hold on, are we talking about Phil or about the chick? I was not going to tell you, but because you were so foolish, so listen up. Lord Adelaide, don't just touch you have to see clearly. Thinking you are all right when you are not bleeding. Such a fool. After hearing his words, not only Phil, Father also started at me. When they saw the skin on my neck that I covered under my hands, they both gulped. They didn't say anything. They just looked at me in shock. I walked to the mirror decorated on the wall, thinking that could it be. Then I carefully pointed at the neck. What is this? It's just the place where the neck was cut. There was a small tattoo, but also with a sense of existence, which exuded an indefinable ill omen. Of course, or is it indefinable? I don't know. Of course, I didn't remember having made this kind of thing. So, what was this? It was the curse, Lord Adelaide, the man said happily, when everyone was stunned. I turned around. Up to now, this was the most cheerful smile of the man. I didn't say anything, as if the man was speaking of someone else. It was the curse that could slowly take physical strength. The average person... Oh, God. After this chapter, I had to blow my nose. The average person could take it for about 2 months. How long could Mr. Knights take it? I hissed, and the wound that should not hurt began to hurt again. I touched the blood vessel that was beating around my neck. I felt deprived of my physical strength as soon as he stopped talking. My eyes dulled, and I couldn't stand firm. Was I still standing where I am now? My brain couldn't work, and I couldn't understand what he said. However, because the head almost crashed, I was quite conscious that maybe I was going to die. What did you do? My voice was very hoarse. My mouth was dry, and the saliva became sticky. What nonsense did you say? Just like fairy tales. How could there be such a curse? Normally, I would have sniffed about such things. I didn't scorn it, and it must be. I saw his sword absorbed my blood on it. I saw a fireball coming out of his hand, and he was able to manipulate it. Is it possible for those who can do such things to curse me? Right? I couldn't help thinking. Even if I wanted to deny it, the scene continued to flash in my mind, not allowing me to deny it. Phil was like me. He was also astonished after he listened to the man's words. Right. If Father were me, Father did not witness the man's strange power. What's more, Father served as head of the King's Knights Regiment. It was impossible for Father to believe such nonsense. With a glimmer of hope, I looked at my father. But Father, who stood there, unexpectedly showed a trace of distress in the expression. Where was his usual calmness? I couldn't believe it. Did Father also believe the man's nonsense? Put the man in the dungeon for now. At last, Father spoke, and just said the words. We couldn't say a word. I couldn't come up with what I could deny the man. I felt painful even to think, and I just took the man to the dungeons as my father ordered. Thank God. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. So much better. Fuck. So much reading. Alright, here we go. Alright. There was a prison under the ground below the castle. It was often used during wars, and it was almost abandoned. I said before, in fact, it had been less than 50 years. Before we were born, more than 40 years ago, large-scale wars took place in Kingdom of Wardkillia. We fought against Kingdom of Dagialu, which was the allied neighboring country for territory. As a result, the two countries reached an alliance. We just learned the result from the textbook. However, Father was the hero who survived the war. It was his feats in the battles that made him what he was today. At the time of our birth, the marks of wars had been removed, and we even doubted whether the war really existed. It seemed that the dungeon was built at that time. Father chose this place especially. It's probably that he wanted to hide the presence of the man as far as possible. Though understandable, was it necessary to hide him? Indeed, his strange powers were dangerous. Such a dangerous man must not be allowed to indulge, although it had not fully been confirmed. It was also true that he sold illegal drugs. But even so, I still felt something wrong. Since the man was caught, it could be enough to put him into the prison in use now. It was heavily guarded. Only the chosen knights could serve as guards there. After all, right? Father did not see the man's strange powers. Now that he did not see the threat caused by the man, why was he like us? No. Or bewared of him more than we did. How did Father think? With the key to cell Father gave me, these thoughts lingered in my mind. I went down the stairs and saw the space built by a piece of cold stone. A piece of cold stone built the space? Am I getting that right? The dungeon was not too large, nor were there many cells. It would make a sound like stomp when the solid ground was set foot on. The cells contained only minimal furniture. The iron fence creaked and made a jarring noise when it was opened. Phil dragged the man and shut him in. Then I locked it. With a clatter, the cell was closed. Accidentally, the man quickly accepted the current situation and walked himself to the bedside and sat down. Then, what was going to be done? Anyway, the key should be handed to Father firstly. The problem was who was going to guard it. It looked that Father didn't want others to know the existence of the key except us two. Then it has to be me and Phil who would watch the key in turn, but it was not possible. Well, I couldn't just leave it in the prison and do nothing. What's more, the man could summon the fireball. A prison like this would probably be damaged effortlessly. You could all be relaxed. Even for me, I can't bring down the prison. It was like he read my mind and spit out such words. I stared at him in astonishment, and noticed that he smiled again. I can't believe you keep such things. Is it because you have predicted today? People like Night is getting more annoying. What do you mean? A cell is sorely necessary. Haven't you noticed? This is not like the common cell. Yes, unbelievably firm. As you said. Indeed, the cell here was different from the modern cell in some cases. But I was not sure what the concrete difference were. It just looked solid for the first impression. Was it because the old style, the design was also different? No, the modern ones were not that new now. Such cell, I can't escape either. And I'm not planning to run away. Killing you is enough. Even it's going to cost my life. You are such a strange guy. It seems that you have other fellows. It's nothing to sacrifice one like you. It's just that killing you is more important. My mission is done already, just in yesterday. Nevertheless, I'm not seeking death deliberately. Then it's better you're being imprisoned here. Well, it's temporary. If you did something that makes me rather to die, I'll reconsider then. No, we don't have such plans. And we can't kill you. We might let you go if it's possible. It was rather. So, would you like to have a talk with me? Aha, you're indeed Lord Adelaide. Your thoughts are different from common people. After listening to my words, the man laughed somehow. I stared at him and tried to figure out what he was up to. The man proceeded talking jollily. Well, it's harmless to tell you. You're going to find out sooner or later. You won't probably spread it if I told you. No, I won't. You are so sure about this. You're saying or not? Let me see. Where should I start? My lady. The man began to ponder with his hand rubbing the jaw. When he was about to talking, Phil, who had been silent until now, interrupted him all of a sudden. Phil grabbed my hand with a sullen expression. There is no need to listen to such people. He speaks nothing but nonsense in order to live. It's just a waste of time. I'm more concerned about your health compared to what he will talk. Just go to the infirmary immediately. Phil, thank you for your concern. If you worry about me, you should even listen to him. The mark on my body might not be cured by the infirmary. But, my lady, you don't have to listen if you don't want to. You could go back first. But no matter what you say, I can't get down, I can't read. But no matter what you say, I will ask him. After finishing the sentence, Phil lowered his head and bite his lip. Pondering a while, Phil seemed to give up. He took a sigh. I see. Since my lady said so, I might as well listen to him. Haha. Well-respected Lord Adelaide, such an outstanding talent. I'm grateful about this. Then, let's begin. First of all, what's your name? Oh, blow my nose again. Oh my god. Oh, sorry, I know it's gross. But I can't read like this. Then let's begin. First of all, what's your name? Just as I finished my sentence, there was an astonished look on that man's face. He abruptly looked up and watched my face wordlessly. Why he was so surprised. I just asked his name. Was it so unexpected? I couldn't call him you or this guy all the time. Yeah, you could. I gave him a look. He seemed to get me wrong, changed his attitude out of the blue, and stared at me unhappily. Marlowe. Really? That's his name? His name is Marlowe? What? Marlowe, my name. You're Marlowe. Yes, I am, you know. Hold on a second! Is that Marlowe talking or her? I'd better introduce myself. I'm Adelaide. Adelaide Dyandale. Dyandale, you're the daughter of the regimental commander. Blood relationship really is magic. Compared to blood relationship, education plays a more important role, I guess. He has been strict with me when I was young. The man, no, Marlowe, urged me to continue talking. I stepped back slightly in order to let him see Phil, who was standing behind me. Phil had no intention to introduce himself and kept glaring at Marlowe. This is Phil Cromch. He is my teammate. Really, bitch? He didn't want to fucking introduce himself. Why did you introduce him? It seems that you know my father. No need to explain then. No need. It doesn't matter if I don't know your names. How could you say that? I guess the conversation can't go on if you don't know each other. It is. Whatever. I'm fine with it. So, could we get down to business? Where should we start? Hey, Lord Adelaide, anything you want to know? If you ask me, it's hard to say. I want to learn about all the things that you know, but I don't know. But the time is limited, so hurry up. Marlowe, who are you? Since you asked. Marlowe raised his lip corner and came close as soon as I finished my question. But he was still in the cell. And I stayed outside of the cell, so there was a distance anyway. He was in the corner of the cell, and now went straight to here. You were so calm. I guess you will ask your injuries first. Don't you ask that? I will, but I want to know who you are with these powers. Aha, I see. It's you, I can tell you. Marlowe stayed away from me gradually. Then he put a strange gesture and opened his hands. I am a sorcerer. I am a sorcerer. His fair hands were exposed in the robe. Then I heard he said, Sorcerer? I asked him back. Marlowe nodded with a smile. I have many speculations about what he was going to answer, but I did not see this coming. Or I never expected, because the sorcerer and the like were only an imagination. Marlowe seemed so happy to see my reaction. At this time, after listened quietly, Phil grabbed my wrist again, tried to let me leave here. Sure enough, my lady, this guy tricked you like an idiot. It's a waste of time to ask him questions. Calm down, Phil. We cannot make conclusion now. Marlowe, could you be more specific? The sorcerer you were talking is the sorcerer we know? You could achieve all kinds of wishes and have the miraculous power? Oh, I see. It spreads like this. Sounds like truly a fairy tale. Anyway, it may be the sorcerer you're imagined, but I'm not that omnipotent. The saying that we can achieve everything is too complimentary. How come? Because the sorcerer can just be in the fairy tale. It's true that it has been circulating the legend of the existence of the sorcerer in our country, even so. You are really stubborn, Night Lord. I have cast some magic in front of you, even so you're still gonna deny me the existence of sorcerer. Or you insist on saying that are all only tricks. Do you need me to show you again? Marlowe slowly stretched out his hands to us. Then a ball of fire on his hand became clear from the memory. Indeed, there was no doubt that it was like the magic. The instant disappearance of the bruises on my neck did amazingly just like the magic. Even so, I can admit the existence of sorcerer easily. Seeing me fell into meditation, Marlowe sighed despairingly. Ugh, I give up. Maybe it looks like a juggle for you. Actually, there does has some making of living by this. What? Wait a second. Are there any other sorcerers beside you? Of course, if I were the only sorcerer, I would not show up easily. You have asked me right now that if I have any companions. Yes, but I never accepted that your fellows are also sorcerers. Well, but unfortunately that all my fellows are sorcerers. Or in other words, it's better to say that the people in my village are all sorcerers. I born in a village of sorcerers. How? How could there be such places? But there is very few people. It is not as many people as it is in the nearby town. That's to say, I know, I'm trying to get through this. That's to say, I'm trying. It's not giving me much. That's to say, you're that magician, and your companions are magicians too. That's to say, because of your presence, there's such kind of legend. Do you think the legend is true? Although it is said like this, it is somewhat far-fetched to say this legend is true. This is a fucking expedition. Oh god, I can't even fucking talk now. Exposition dump. Hopefully after this we can get to the fucking, okay guys? Actually, it's more exposition, but then the fucking. It is a history, rather than a legend. It is only a kind of past things. Marlowe suddenly stopped talking and looked at me with a faint smile. He seemed to see me through. What comes to my mind now was only a part of a comic book that I read for several times when I was a child. But because the magicians used all their powers to do wrong. So eventually they had to live in the depth of the forest far away from town. And the cute illustration, those who with pointy hat are bullying people in the town with evil expressions on their face. But in the next page, they are out of spirits and walk towards the forest. If it is not just a fairy tale, but a history. If that's true, so the magicians... When I suddenly thought of a possibility, Marlowe suddenly seemed to be very happy and slightly closed her eyes. Her eyes! Yes, exactly 40 years ago. At that moment, we still lived here. How? How could it be that? If you don't want to believe it, don't believe it. That being said, but I was not yet born, so these are heard from my father and people in the village. I would like to believe it, but it is impossible for me to believe. Because he said 40 years ago. Is it not yet passed over half a century? 40 years ago, magicians were actually lived in this town. If it happened 40 years ago, even now there are some people who can still remember things about magicians. It is not weird at all. If it was true, why did adults write stories about magicians in the picture books? Or the picture storybooks? Well, my father would be a knight 40 years ago. Yes. I don't want Marlowe, because this is like really boring. I think the other two routes are more entertaining. Yes, he was just at the same age as me. Please, wait, you mean 40 years ago? If it was 40 years ago, at that moment... You understand it so fast. That's what you're thinking about. 40 years ago, this country is at war with neighboring kingdom of Dangaroo. Well, alright. We the magicians not only lived in this country 40 years ago when the war took place, but we also served as soldiers in this war. We gave up our lives to fight for the nation, but you guys... Okay. My lady! At this time, Marlowe raised her voice, suddenly approached to me, and seized the fence quickly. Well, I'm starting to see... Is she confusing Marlowe for being a woman, or is it just because he looks androgynous? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with wife beater Uthia. That's some interesting stuff. At this time, Marlowe raised her voice. Suddenly, okay, blah. I was scared by her abrupt movement and unconsciously became alert. Phil, who stood behind me, came to my front to protect me. But Marlowe did not care about these, but became more fiercely stared at me, and raised her voice to yell at me. But you, the knights, wanted to kill all of us at the end of the battle. Because you were beginning to fear our strength, and you want to kill all the magicians. What? What are you saying? He is a guy. It is unbelievable that you had a grand ceremony before implementation of the punishment. Even so, there are still people who survived and lived barely. Later, they lived in the places away from the public to avoid being noticed. I am the offspring of the living magicians. Lord Adelaide, we hate you knights. Do you understand? Should you understand? I'll never forgive them for life. I'll never forgive these knights who did such cruel things to our ancestors. Nothing. I couldn't say nothing. On the other side of the iron fence, he gazed at me with an oppressive sight. I try. The war about 40 years ago was recorded in any textbooks. Even a child knows it. Sometimes I have to reread it just so I can understand it in my brain. But there is not a single word to record about the magicians. Well, don't you have been born at that time? But there is still someone alive who know what's happened to us. ceremony. Some of them should also have seen our execution. But you don't know our existence. That's because those guys didn't write anything. Well, they didn't say it because they don't want to say. Yes, if it was before 40 years ago, there must be someone who knows these things, must be alive, but they kept silent about it. They acted as if nothing had happened and hid it, and turned it into a fairy tale. Yeah, like that guy, but it really surprised me a little. I thought he'd say this to your daughter at least. He? That's your father, Lord Adelaide. My father was the person concerned in this things. I have heard that my father had made a brilliant military success in that war. It was not surprising that he had actually taken part in the magician incident, but that man who came to kill a father of a child, Artorius Diandale. My father told me things about him for several times. His behaviors take several nights into the town. I'll never forget him from life. My father told me these sentences for several times. How could it be? I don't know. I have cursed you. When I said this sentence, this expression on Colonel's face is hardly too for us to forget forever. Oh shit. Haha. I really want to tell these things to my father. Father's expression on his face is a kind of surprise that's hard to see. Because of this? We'll never forgive those nights, and the country for life. That's why I came here. To let those who don't know the magician's existence know it. If Lord Knight had been killed, there must be some rumors, huh? Do you do this thing to my lady just because of such kind of thing? Do you do the thing because of the thing? You are dare to say this thing? What is this shit? Basically, they killed all the fucking sorcerers back in the day because they felt threatened by their power and they covered it up. That's all this is. That's all this fucking is. You are dare to say this thing? Marlowe, who had been talking all the time, suddenly shut his mouth. I was wondering what was wrong. Marlowe suddenly pulled out his hand from the chink of the fence. Without stopping for a second, he seized Phil's chest. Marlowe pulled Phil toward himself, and spoke to him in a very disgusted expression. We fought desperately for the country, and what's the result? Just because our strength made you fear, you killed all of us? You said it was nothing? Well, enjoy yourself. I didn't expect you can understand us. That's why we choose to do so. Marlowe released Phil. Phil suddenly sat slumped on the ground, and he might be frightened. I quickly moved forward to him without hesitation, and found Phil was just staring at Marlowe. Get out of here. I have nothing to say to you. Wait a minute, Marlowe. We haven't... I told you to get out of here! Marlowe's cry resounded through the narrow cell. I just listened before the sound disappeared. I don't know what to say to him. No, we don't have anything to say to him at all. I'm unwillingly, but we really have nothing to say. I caught Phil's hand, who slumped in the ground, trying to get out of there. Phil made some panicked noises, but he did not stop me. We'll come again, Marlowe. Marlowe said nothing, but sat quietly in the cell. I took Phil's hand and left the underground cell. Oh my god! Alright, I just want to see what the next. Alright, anyways, let's get back to this. After we left the underground cell, the time passed faster than imagination. There was only some scattered shadows of people in the city. If someone knew my coming to the underground cell, there would probably be some rumors. We had to walk forward to avoid being noticed, but Phil made a panicked noise behind. Then I remembered that I was still holding Phil's hand. Please wait for a moment, my lady. Sorry? I didn't let him go until I heard Phil's voice. Phil continued, looking at his free hands. It doesn't matter to me, but, my lady, are you okay with your body? What? Am I okay with my body? Although I'm not sure what the guy said is a curse, but you really got hurt. Is it better to see the doctor? Oh, hey, Zen! You get to see me read really, really bad visual novel. And maybe get a little bit of boobs. Because there's gonna be boobs. Which, surprisingly, she looks really flat-chested here, and I don't really, like, I'm not gonna really make mention about these things normally, because I don't care, but she looks really flat-chested here. Just wait until we get to the fucking hentai scenes. They fucking balloon up. Not kidding. Alright, I don't feel pain. If we go there, it'll only make the doctor in a difficult condition. But Phil, even so, Phil still wanted to continue talking about it. He closed his mouth when he heard me call out his name. You might need to, because they might hit you in the face. Phil felt embarrassed and closed his mouth and unconsciously began to look around. I think I should go to see my father first. What about you? Do you want to go back first? No, I want to go with you. May I go with you? You may go with me. Even if I said I was just to return the key, he still wanted to go with me. Though I wanted to confirm with my father about what Marlowe said. If I verified it in front of Phil, he must criticize me that I would trust that kind of people. What would Phil think of it after listening to the words of Marlowe? Still didn't believe it? Even if he didn't believe it, he should think of something. I turned to Phil, who was following behind me, and looked a little flustered. I noticed some small shake of Phil's shoulder when I caught his sight. Phil, how did you think about Magician? My lady, you trusted what he said? It was kind of fairy tale things. Maybe his nonsense just wanted beneath Colonel's dignity. Certainly I knew he would say that. In spite of the reasons why he said that, however, you must have heard magicians before, haven't you? God, this is still the droning, boring shit. Let's just get to some action already. I only heard they are the ones who own power that can do everything. I had never thought they lived here before. Yep, me too. I had heard of stories like this kind of fairy tale many times in my childhood. Once upon a time, there were lots of students talking this in school, so I remembered it very well. Magician, as its literal meaning, are miraculous ones that can use magic. Speaking of that, the first time I knew it was from comic strip, was I? There are lots of comic strips and novels depicting magician. Magicians and illustrious... What? Magicians and illustrious are with marvelous peaked cap and loose magic gowns. Okay, I think what he basically said is that the magicians and illustrations have their pointy caps and robes, right? Is that what he said? They wave small magic wand and then they can satisfy the desire. Wait, what do they mean by satisfy the desire? Speaking of that, I would specialize to find some comic strips about magicians to read. No one in this country did not know the word. There are always several books about magicians exhibiting in the bookstore. As for people, magicians live in dreamy world. Unexpectedly, magicians ever lived in this town. The most famous comic book tells a story similar to the following. They were exiled because of their power, but they are still living around us. The story sounded like this. What Marlowe said was somewhat like the story. Probably for this, I couldn't deny it when I faced him. Having heard many powerful magicians' adventures, such stories like magicians have lived in this country, and, I preferred this kind of stories better because these can stimulate my imagination. In stories such as magicians appear in empty classrooms of the night schools, 7 weird events, children who stay up late will be taken by the magician, they are just the king of story, which were made up by parents to educate their children. There are countless stories about magicians in this country. Hi, missing content! Are you coming to watch me read a really badly translated visual novel? Because you're in the right place! So, if magicians do exist really, then it will be spread soon. No mention that, if a night is cursed, everyone will think of that who did that magicians. What am I don't even know what I'm saying. It just, at a certain point, it just seems like random words being written down on the screen here. So that's the reason why Father hid Marlowe in the underground prison. But now, as I have known that Father is involved, I have no choice to go for the truth. But that sort of thing? I know, but he knows Father's past. Even if he were not a magician, he wouldn't be a man who has nothing to do with me. It does sound very dyslexic. Oh god, I'm gonna be talking dyslexic here, because... I'm drinking this rosé-flavored vodka on the rocks, and I might have already had about a shot's worth of it. And I still have about half a glass left, so let's keep at it. I'm gonna need it to finish this. Maybe he knows anything else. Well, even though it's reasonable. Even if there is something not true, I don't think the whole thing is a lie. Anyway, I was hurt indeed. The reasons may be different, but he indeed have deep hatred of knights. Yes, he does. And at that time, the face of Father can't believe that. He has forgotten everything. When he spoke of the curse, Father's stiff expression appeared in my memory vaguely. Well, yeah, we're gonna... This is a rare occurrence, you guys. Enjoy it while it lasts. I have to ask his really thoughts if there's nothing. Everything is alright. Just when I was about to go back to my father. What? Suddenly the world blurred in front of my eyes. Everything suddenly turned round and twisted like an abstract painting. Am I too tired? I wanted to rub my eyes, suddenly realized that I couldn't lift it at all. No, not just hands. The whole body doesn't work. I could do nothing but to stand there dully. There was a strong pain came from my neck. There. That's the place Marlowe hurt me. Did the wound crack? Thinking of that, when I tried to touch it, the vision suddenly shook violently. The cheeks were ice cold. Then I fell down at the corridor. When exactly is this? I don't know. I think it's at 2 in the afternoon, actually. Although I wanted to stand up, my body could not move. Can't even utter a sound. I stayed at the ground. My lord! My lord! Phil's voice seemed to come from somewhere with the distance. That's nice. He noticed me. But this feeling of relief lasted only a moment. Then my eyelids got heavier and heavier. The dim vision slowly disappeared, and I gradually lost my consciousness. I'm just wondering, is there at any point that I actually get to make decisions in this game? Have we made any decisions up to this point? I was surprised when I came to and saw the unfamiliar ceiling, but after a while I remembered that I had fainted. It is... Well, it's already filled. You can hear it clinking. There's ice in there. It seems I have been sleeping all the time. When I opened my eyes, I was in bed. I looked around and found that the bed was curtained off. So here is the clinic. Maybe Phil carried me here. I just fainted like that. Should he be scared? I should say thanks to him. By the way, I remembered after the sudden pain in the neck, then I lost my consciousness gradually. I put my hand on my neck, but there was no wound there. When I saw it, there was something strange there, something like a mark. Does it pain for this? But how could the cut area have this kind of thing? Is it magic? Wait, didn't didn't the wizard basically tell her he cursed her? Why does she not believe this shit? He said it was a curse, so it seems I had to go and ask Marlowe about this mark. While I was trying to sit up, the quilt fell to the ground. As I bent down to pick it up, I felt dizzy. Then I kept on the leaning posture and lost my balance, fell off the bed. Tried to change the posture, I still fell down on the ground. Why, I could not help sitting on the floor muttering. Although not a faint this time, I really felt the weakness. Is it because too much has happened, so there is more tiredness than I think? I'm really sorry. The name of the captain of the Knight Regiment is to be abolished. What? My lord! I was sitting on the ground dully when Phil rushed in. We looked into each other's eyes the moment he came in. He rushed to me hurriedly at the first sight he saw me. Are you okay? Hey, do not move around, okay? It's the quilt. It's falling off the bed, so I wanted to pick it up. My lord, you just fainted before. Do please have a good rest. Oh? I can't say anything back. Then he helped me to sit up and get onto the bed. There's no reason to refute his words, and haven't the strength to, so I lied down, just as he said. Phil picked up the falling quilt and put it on my body again. Thank you, Phil. It's not a big deal. No, not for this. Are you all right? Still feeling sick? Anywhere hurts? Well, it doesn't hurt now, but I'm still a little bit tired. I will listen to you to have a good rest. It must be that, Ma. What? Did he just call her Ma? Phil has been looking at me with worried eyes so far. Suddenly showed an expression I had never seen before. I knew it. That angry look. But it's really rare. Although Phil and I have known each other for only a few years, this guy has always been very open and bright. I have never seen him so angry. But even a person like him now got mad. So when I was chopped down by Marlowe, did he have the same expression? The memory I left to Phil was such a poor one. I'm really ashamed of being a captain. I looked at him, who was trembling with anger. I reached out to him and touched him on the cheek. Phil was greatly surprised. My lord, what are you doing? I'm sorry, Phil, for making you worried. No, not at all. I haven't done anything to deserve your apology, my lord. Nothing. Then you stop showing that expression. I hope you smile all the time. What? Phil always smiles and relieves everyone on the team. Yes, this guy, that kind of guy. The one who turned him like this is no one else but me. You're really worried about such a hopeless boss like me, or a useless boss like me. It really makes me happy. But Phil, I hope you can keep your smile all the time. My lord. Looking at your smile, I feel better too. Phil, stop such horrible expression. Shit is so fucking boring, okay? Can we? Oh my god. That's why I'm going for Uthia, the asshole. Because at least it's interesting. My finger touched Phil's eyebrows, caressed his frowned brow. Phil's shoulders trembled slightly, and the face flushed. Phil was stiff for a moment, then the red appeared on his face. He took my hand. My lord, I can do anything for you. So I hope, my lord, hope you could forever be my lord. Thanks. Being loved so deeply as a captain, I am honored. In this situation, I can still say this without any disappointment. I'm really happy. I'm sorry to make you worried. That's all right. I know it was. By the way, so you did get hurt by that guy, right? Or to say, is that kind of a chronic poisoning? Poison? I never thought it would be so bad. Well, I need to go and ask again. My lord, you can't. Please don't get up. He has it's like question marks for all of his fucking lines. How do I read those? When I was getting up, Phil stopped me hurriedly. I think they're thinking exclamation point. He pressed my shoulder and tried to let me lay down and rest, but I can't just lie here all the time. I just want to go to the dungeon once again. What time is it? How long have I slept? It is already in the afternoon. My lord, you have been sleeping for several hours. Yeah, there's a lot of question marks here. Like, I think they maybe think they're periods. You will never know how it feels like when I am waiting for you to wake up. I know. So sorry? If you really do, please do not be so reckless again. I know. Even if you say so, I have to pay a visit to Marlowe. No, or I can go to my father and ask him before that. Even so, I could ask him. My lord, you must stay here to have a good rest. Though there is no wound, you were certainly hit by it. Or maybe it is poisoned. I'm pretty sure they think the question marks are periods. I'm fairly certain now. If so, then it is definitely not the time for a rest. According to what he said, this thing is really able to kill me. Maybe there is antidote with him. I have to go see him as soon as possible. No sooner did I finally persuaded Phil and was ready to get up from the bed. The sound of the opening of the clinic room door came over there. We all immediately turned to that side. I thought it might be the returning doctor, but it turned out to be an unexpected man. Father? My father, Artorius Diandale, was standing there. Well, I don't have to go see my father now. Entering the infirmary, he saw us and immediately walked towards us. Adelaide, you woke up? Father, why are you here? Phil, did you tell him about it? I thought so too. No, not me. After you fainted, I have been with you here. Because the affairs with that man should be kept secret, I think it is better not to tell other people. I was not informed by him? Wait, these question marks are fucking me up. Because your situation is not so good. Your doctor secretly informed me of this. It looks like you are fine now, and don't let me worry about you. This is really so sorry for troubling you. Really so sorry, Father, for letting you come all the way here. There is no need for these cliches. I just come to check for your physical condition. As you can see, I am fine now. It's just some fatigue, and there is nothing that we need ask for your help. After hearing this, Father kept silence, as if he was thinking about something. I was just so surprised by the appearance of Father. After all, I just suddenly fainted. My father actually came all the way to the infirmary just for this. If he just heard from the doctor about me, then would he just come all the way here to confirm my condition in himself? Father did not say anything, just without any word. It became more and more difficulty for me to understand his real thoughts. After all, my father actually... Well, Captain... Even Phil began to question him because of his abnormality. After hearing the voice of Phil, Father raised his head and frowned. He looked at me, as if he was thinking about something. I will curse you to the last generation. Such things should become real. Sorry, Adelaide. What? Just right there in front of me, my father actually bowed his head down and apologized to me, which I would never expect. He just cursed her, right? Didn't he say curse, or did I read that wrong? Oh lord, I'm gonna need more booze for this. I cannot digest the sudden situation at this such a short time. Just looking at his back of the head at a loss. Although Phil was as stunned as I was, he immediately realized what was happening and uttered a cry of surprise. I finally understood what my father was doing to me, and I was to stop him in panic. Father, how can you do this to a person like me? Please raise your head. They're coming, I swear to God, they're coming. I do not know what to say to express my apologies for you. Such an apology is far from enough. Actually, I really never expect to encounter such a thing. Please calm down, Captain. Lord Adelaide now has already recovered, and there is no need for you to apologize. No, all these are my fault. Saying I'm so sorry, Father bowed his head again. I stopped him in panic, but Father still looked at me with a bitter expression. As Phil said just now, even if it was an implementation process of the task as per the order of my father that I was cut by that man, it happened all because of my own carelessness. There was no need for Father to apologize for this. Despite of this, however, my father will bow to apologize to a person like me so many times. Suddenly I remembered the words of Marlowe, the man who was to kill Father, Artorius Diandale, who was still a child at that time. Father had told me many times about his story. Right. I still had to ask Father to get this thing clarified. Father, can I ask you one thing? What is it? Marlowe, no, just about something I heard from the man previously arrested. The man claims to be a magician. At that time, that guy also mentioned your name. He said to you, no, he harbors a hatred to all the knights. Okay, so it seems that you have heard a lot from him. He did not deny and had just been nodding to my words. Looking at such a father, I felt very anxious and unconsciously stopped. Father, is this true? But this kind of thing. Incredible, isn't it? It is all right if you will think in this way. Anyway, magician is, after all, a fantasy product. In order to make you believe in such an idea, we have spent a long time on it. What? Did he just agree to lying to us for all those years? How? How come? Captain, that is to say, the magicians, indeed, has lived in this country. Those who persecuted them are not others, it is us. Stunned, I could only watch the mouth of Father, who calmly said this with a usual tone. Without any care to our expressions, Father continued. It seems that you have known some of it. Since my name has been mentioned, you must have heard of the previous war. Yes, he talked about that war, and they also participated in it. Yes, the reason why the war won was all because of them, and it was all their credit. This is an indisputable fact. So they just basically fucked over all the sorcerers. Ugh, whatever. If it was not for their power, now the Kingdom of Orkilia should have been an affiliate of the Kingdom of Dajalu. If it is so, why then? Oh, hey, Potato Tops! Oh, you get to come and watch me read really bad visual novel today. This is good stuff. Because of their strength, there are no other reasons. The king and then captain of Knight Regiment, and even the kingdom of Dajalu were afraid of them. Afraid that they would go against them with their own sword. Even so, there must be other better ways. How can you just kill all the magician? Your behavior has violated the spirit of knight. This is the intention of this country. Was it not a chivalry thing to fulfill this? Oh god, Convernulas. I don't think there's any convernulas, but the scene, the writing and the age scenes in this pretty bad. Either way. It is simply sophistry. I like how they just pop like these big words in there every now and then. My lord, please calm down. I began to question Father unconsciously. Phil pressed me down by holding back my two arms. Should not you care more about your physical conditions than the past stories? I can understand your feeling, but please calm down. Really? Adelaide, it seems that I have overpraised you. Okay, asshole. I thought you'd be smarter. My body was held down by Phil, and I tried to keep myself calm. I like how, when instead of just saying I, like Phil holds me back, they keep saying stuff like my body, because clearly they gotta like build up to that. After I relaxed, Phil also let go of his hand. Looked at me behaving like this. Father was slightly surprised and sighed. Let me continue. All in all, it is true about what he said. I know what they are doing, and then the mark on your neck, I also know its meaning. What? Really? Is it true? Yeah, I used to see them use this. It is impossible to forget. Such an ominous design, too impressive to forget. Father gave a glance at my neck. His seemingly needle-punching sight made me get alerted unconsciously. They like to use this, as the guy said. This is the curse. This mark indeed can shorten your life. Really? It is? It frightened me out of my shit. Oh my god! It frightened me out of my shit! Oh god, did they just write that? I need another sip. Oh my god. Alright, okay. Marlowe said that this is a curse that can slowly deprive a person of physical strength. It slowly takes away strength. God. And then my lord will die in certain time. Is that right? Then I would die. It will not let you die so easily. It will suffer a hell, and then you will die. Well, great. I seem to feel Marlowe's resentment through this mark. Oh, thanks for the cheers, but saying content. The meaning this little mark contained made me feel extremely horrible. At the same time, I was also aware of Marlowe's deep resentment against us. In response to the problem of Phil, Father said a but, and then shook his head. This curse is not impossible to be removed. Really? Is it so? Yeah, though I do not know what to do, but before we were in the negotiations with the conditions for removing the curse, so it should have solutions. Then we should immediately go to the man and ask him. Let's get rid of this curse as soon as possible. Then Phil took my hand as his face suddenly turned pleasant. Can it be cured? Can such an ominous curse actually be removed? But this was what Father said. He may probably want to negotiate with removing this curse as a condition. I am going with you also. I would like to say something to that guy. Are you also going also, Captain? Didn't he just say he's fucking going? Yes, it probably won't be done without me. Phil is dumb. I'm sorry, Phil is dumb. Father first walked to the dungeon. Phil looked at me with worries, and after I told him that I was okay, I also followed my father out. Hey, Lily! Coming in for the good stuff! Shit. I thought we were done with the exposition dumps, but clearly we're back to talking to Marlowe again. After getting to the dungeon, we found Marlowe lying on the prison bed. Well, he didn't miss much. Basically, I passed out and Phil brought me in my room, and I found out I confronted my dad, and he admitted that everything's true. But when he saw us coming with my father, he immediately jumped to his feet. What do you want? The captain should actually come to such a place. It is, and we also discovered that they actually think question marks are periods, because all of the periods are question marks in this. Is this not what you want? I am convinced to ask you about the way of removing the curse. After Father finished his words, Marlowe's mouth slightly eased. Well, what a bossy tone it is. Do you really think I will tell you in vain? You, how dare you speak in this way to Captain? Stop, Phil. Now is not the time to talk about this. But... haha, perfect. It would be more convenient for me to answer your questions in such a rude way. Father just stared at Marlowe ferociously. Only Phil himself was furious, but Marlowe seemed to be less satisfied and felt bored a bit. Never mind. Okay, I can tell you. Anyway, even if I tell you, you would not able to do anything. What do you mean? Quinine fruit, carnado leaves, and then you also need petals of eyelash flower. First of all these things are necessary. All of the strange words that came out of Marlowe's mouth have not been heard from before. I tried to recall those memories being compressed in the corner of my brain. I studied some medical knowledge on emergency treatment in night school. Well, Phil, what did you learn at the night school? Pretty much. At least you should have heard of such a thing as carnado leaves. This is also a medicine commonly used for cold. They are on sale in the market, and guess it can be found in the clinic. As for the other things, quinine fruit is expensive, but it is not something that cannot be got, and we could purchase it somewhere later. But the eyelash flower, is this the name of some flower? Are these people dumb? Like, seriously, the eyelash flower, is this the name of some flower? I have never heard of it. Where can we get it? Who knows? I only saw it blossoming in the vicinity of our village. What? How come? What else do you know? Where else do you think we can find this flower? I do not know. Eyelash flower is precious in our place. I do not know if it can grow on the territory of mankind. In that case, how about you letting me go and I will help you get it? But I naturally will not do this in vain. Marlowe narrowed his eyes and looked at my father. Father did not say any word. Seeing the reaction of my father, Marlowe once again frowned. How can we do this kind of thing? Sorry, I cannot bring you guys to our village. I do not want you to know our living place. And in order to prevent an intrusion of people without magic, we have laid the enchantment there. You guys could never make it there. Well, is it true? In this case, lying to you will not do me any good. But if you are still skeptical, I do not care. Marlowe deliberately talked vaguely. Correct. We have no other option but to believe in the words of Marlowe. Marlowe probably also knew this, so he would say things like this. Phil frowned and felt very reluctant. Secretly, I glanced at Father from the corner of my eyes to see how he would do, only finding that Father was just calmly nodding his head. Quinine fruit and carnado leaves. I am going to prepare. There is also the eyelash flower. We will carry out some investigations. Maybe we can solve it with other solutions. After that, I will decide whether to let you help. Haha, whatever you'd like. Seeing Father's calm reaction, Marlowe felt very dissatisfied, and he lay down on the bed with an indifferent expression. It seemed that he decided to ignore us no matter what we would say to him. After a glance at Marlowe, Father returned to us. Adelaide, sorry, and that is it. And you have already seen everything. I know. Is it okay for me? Or it is okay, Keith? I don't know. First of all, we will also investigate this flower. Me too. I will join you. I am sure to find it, definitely. Well, I'll be looking for it also. Contact me immediately if you find it. Sorry, I have to excuse myself for some work. What about you? We are leaving also. Marlowe probably will not tell us anything else. It seems so. Let me keep the key. These people sound like they're not even acquaintances. Let me know if you want to see him for anything. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. We bid farewell to my father in the dungeon. It seemed that my father made this special trip despite of his busy schedule. At the thought of his coming here all the way for my concerns, I feel particularly obliged to him. I don't know. Well, we're getting to the pal. I think the next a choice should be coming up where I actually decide between the characters, and then we get a little bit of story. Then it's the good bits, I guess. If we let Marlowe help with obtaining the eyelash flower, he would definitely ask for something as return. For the magician, I could not figure out what it would be, but it must be something that is not good for this country. Maybe Father did so just in order to avoid that, even if it means weighing the importance of my life and the importance of that thing. I heeded to not let other people know the curse, while I began to investigate the eyelash flower. Thinking about what must be done in the future, I would be in trance. There came a tingling in the neck where the mark is. I can only sigh gently in order to not let Phil next to me notice. We're gonna get some good bits, I promise. Alright. In order to investigate the eyelash flower, we would go to the city library as long as we are free. But we do not know how to investigate such a thing as eyelash flower that never heard of before. Anyway, we just read all the books on the flowers. Although we had been reading books with the help of Phil, we still could not find the relevant information. As the city library is very large, so we have a lot of books not yet covered, but if we cannot find it, this uneasy feeling has become more and more intense recently. I am not sure which has more books, compared with the Royal Library. No, if it cannot be found here, then we have to try there. So in order to return the book, I have been to the library today. Anyway, we started reading books one by one from one side of the bookshelf, but how many books were there left to be read on Earth? Oh, here comes my favorite character! It is you, Adelaide. Just when I was going to put the book back to the bookshelf, I suddenly heard someone call my name, so in surprise I turned my head back. There should stand Uthia. Uthia, why are you here? This is the downtown, so it is very strange for me to be here. It is true, but at such an embarrassing time. I immediately hid the book in my hands behind. He just saw me holding the book. Probably he did not notice what kind of book it was. I have thought too much, and I did not expect to make such an unnatural move. Surely enough, upon seeing my move, Uthia slightly frowned. What have you just hid from me? Is it something that I should not see? No, it is not like that. Really? You are really an unpleasant girl, save fooling me as a fool like this. I did not fool you. Never mind, I just came here to fetch some materials. That's my handler, really. Uthia passed me with impatience. Damn it, every time I met this guy, things would become like this. Every time Uthia could see through my words and deeds, and I cannot help retorting against him. Tit for tat, an eye for an eye. I thought it was time for me to do something. However, our problem can be resolved as long as I tried to avoid. But before I came back to myself, Uthia had disappeared in the shadow of the bookshelves. I had no other ways but to complete the primary purpose of coming here. Anyway, it was not this book. I inserted the book into a small empty gap, the place where the book was originally placed. And then my hand picked up the book next to it. Reading the title on the spine, it seemed to be the right book, but whether it was or not. God. I opened the catalog and just scammed. Scammed. I did not find the name of the flower I was looking for. I was grieved to flip the pages, but it turned to be nothing. She could, but she doesn't. After reading this, I began another book next to it. Oh God. What are you reading? When I repeated this movement, I heard the questioning voice of someone. My shoulders shook a bit unconsciously. Looking towards the direction of the voice, I found Uthia standing there with a few books under his arm. Has it been such a long time? Was it because I was too confused? The sight of Uthia fell on the book in my hand. There was obvious flower pictures on it, and obviously it was not a book related to the work, obviously. I realized it was bad, but it was too late. Instantly, Uthia frowned. I thought you were working. I never expect that you actually just playing. Are you interested in flowers? A little bit, yes. How to answer that correctly? I felt that no matter what I say, I will be despised by him. It is better to practice the sword than play these things that only women and children would be interested in if you have free time. Aren't you a captain of knight? Yes, yeah, you're right. By the way, you have not shown up to the training ground recently, and the guys in your team seem to be upset. Is this a proper behavior as a superior? Really, you're so right. It's my fault to be tied up with my own affairs and neglect the responsibility as a captain. Well, if you also think so, forget it. After all, what good is it for me to say these words to you? Uthia seemed to be very annoyed at this when he spoke, but Uthia immediately changed back to his usual look and looked at me with a contemptuous smile. By the way, did the task that Captain ordered by himself complete? It seems to be a tough task. What are you guys doing in there? It seems to be a tough task. You have a really noble identity. As you said, Uthia, I have been very busy, and I am now. You are busy also. Why don't you just go back with this book? I was no saint. I would become angry if being judged by people like this. Anyway, this guy had spoken this kind of words to me. If he was really so annoyed at me, then he could simply ignore me directly. Maybe his self-esteem would not allow such behavior, but I still hope that he could think in my shoe if every time he was judged in this way. After I pointed to the book in his hands, Uthia obviously was angry. I knew that by looking at his immediately flushed face. I was thinking how wonderful it would be if he could just say angry words and then leave, but to my surprise, Uthia actually did not say anything but directly grabbed me with his hand. What? Hey, Kaseya! You really didn't miss much. We haven't gotten to the dicking yet either, so... What? You have a really noble identity, don't you? When do you become so great, Adelaide? He clutched my coat over my chest and pressed me against the bookshelves behind him. Uthia's face was slowly approaching. If it was as usual, it did not matter, but this time it was not the same. Because on the neck there was the mark of the curse. That's what I would say. That's what I should say. When did you become so great, Uthia? When did you begin to own the right that can fool me as a captain to such a degree? That's what I want to say. How dare you be so contemptuous to me? Who allows you to do so and when? Can he see it in this position? No, it should be invisible. Even knowing this, I was still worried. In order not to let him find that I was shaking, so I prayed that Uthia could leave me alone while stared at him fiercely. Let me go, Uthia. How many times should I tell you that I am busy now? Do you have so much time just to meddle with me? I'm indeed very busy, just because you are so lacking of consciousness as a captain. I just want to give you a suggestion as a captain myself. That's really nice of you. Would you like me to repeat it again, Uthia? Let me ask you, since when have you become so great that you could educate me? If you're really smart, just let me go. What a waste of time it is to argue with you. Uthia did not mean to let me go. The more force the hand that caught on my chest was using, the more pain I felt on the back of my head, which was against the corner of the book. This dude's a dick! Seriously! But we're gonna fuck him. Okay, when I had run out of my patience and was thinking whether to counterattack him, my neck suddenly broke out, a pain like burning. This was obviously different from the pain coming from the back of the head. Then I get it right now. Damn, it was the curse. Although I might get fainted and no one would consider it a curse, this was not my concern. What I was concerned would be why it happened just in front of Uthia. Yeah, he did. If it really fainted, God would know what kind of comments he would make on me. But my praying was only in vain, as the pain on my neck became more intense. There came the nasty sweat, and unconsciously a sob came out from my mouth. Woo, woo, woo! Is that a sob? Is that supposed to be a sob? What happened to you suddenly? Noticing there was something strange, Uthia relaxed his hand. I finally found the opportunity and made every effort to hit Uthia away. But probably because there was no way for me to use the great strength, Uthia just lost his balance. Hey, what's wrong with you? So, Birdie, I am all okay. Just leave me alone. How can I leave you here? Hello, what happened to you? Leave me alone, I'm fine. The pain became more intense, which began to spread throughout the body from the neck. Eventually, even my finger cannot move. I finally could not help it and directly collapsed and sat on the ground. Uthia, in panic, caught my arm, but I cannot even bear the pain of being caught by him. I wanted to rudely get rid of his hand, but that already hit my limit. And I even felt it was very hard for me to sit there. My vision began to get blurred because of the pain, and I could only see the floor of the library. Ouch! The sudden pain on my head made me realize that I seemed to collapse to the ground. Hey, Adelaide! Before my consciousness completely disappeared, I seemed to hear Uthia calling my name, but before my full confirmation, I have lost the consciousness. God. Oh, this is... I don't even know. Okay. When I opened the eyes, I could see some familiar ceilings, and probably because it was my second time here, I soon realized it was the infirmary. Correct. I fainted again. I tried to recall what happened before my fainting. It seemed that, yes, I actually fainted in front of Uthia. How could he judge me? I started to feel anxious now. For example, judging words like, how you can be a captain while you... God, how do you even say this shit? How can you be a captain while you even cannot take good care of yourself? I started to feel depressed, thinking of his rebuking. Words. I sat up and got off the bed, although I could still feel a little pain on the neck, but there was no other part that makes me particularly uncomfortable. I slowly moved the body while I glanced at the clock on the wall. It seemed that it had not been for a long time. Just I was thinking of this and was about to feel at ease when suddenly one question popped to my mind. Well, it is who carried me here. Last time it was Phil who carried me over here, but this time... According to the common sense, it must be Uthia, but would he especially take me here? No, even so, probably he was not that kind of person who would just leave me in the library. But even so, I still felt a bit strange. Maybe he called other people to carry me here. This is more likely. If he called those people like Phil, Phil would immediately come to help him as he knew the truth. I should also think about what to do afterwards. It would be very suspicious if I easily fainted like this. Anyway, I should first go to talk with Uthia so that he would not leak this to anyone. Now, at this time, he might be practicing sword. That would be good. That was good, and I could just meet the team's men, by the way. When I was tidying the messy bed and about to leave the infirmary, I heard the sound of opening the door. It turned out to be Phil. Seeing that I already got up, and Phil became very surprised. Then he runs to me wildly. My lord, are you all right? Yes, compared to that? Why did you get up again? Please stay in bed and have a rest. Yes, that is the gameplay. That's basically the entire gameplay. I'm all right now. Anyway, Phil, why are you here? Because I called him to come. Wait, because I called him to come her. Okay. That is literally the only choices that are made in this game. Behind Phil showed an unexpected face. It was actually Uthia. Obviously, I had been thinking to ask him just now, but now I was thinking about how come he was here. Uthia seemed to be very anxious, staring at me. Well, how will he denounce me now? What a trouble I have caused to you. So sorry, Uthia. Well, I am really so sorry. You even specially called Phil to come. So sorry for such a trouble to you. Okay. When I just finished my words, Uthia instantly frowned. He grabbed the coat over my chest and clung to me. What? Just as the same way in the library, Uthia stared at me at a very close distance. Just one little difference, that was, he pulled with a much more force. The mark probably was exposed completely. It was so bad, but I cannot do anything. No, it does not matter. Uthia did not notice the mark. I cannot let him see that I was shaking. He would not find it in this way. Yeah, you're right. You really gave me trouble. Sorry? This strange mark. I noticed it on your neck as I took care of you when you fainted. Why do you not bind a bandage if you want to hide it? What? I broke away from the hands of Uthia and covered the mark, but these behaviors probably had been regarded as just futile resistance for Uthia, who had seen this mark. Watching me behaving like this, Uthia's expression seemingly indicated a great shock from the bottom of his heart. Even if you do not have this mark, you would hide the cursed things from me, right? Well, so this is the reason why I say that you suck. Thanks, Uthia. Just wait a minute. Hey, how come you know this? Why? He knew about this thing. When I moved my sight away from Uthia to Phil, I saw Phil was wearing a slightly embarrassed expression. Phil, it is you? I am truly sorry, my lord, but the captain! He said that we may also get some help from him if we told the captain about it. My father, Uthia and my father have also known each other for a long time. Was it judgment based on this? After all, I had directly fainted in front of him. Although father's words were very reasonable, I still felt a little embarrassed. After all, he was Uthia. Father did not know that I had a bad relationship with Uthia. Father had been like this before, who always wanted to bind me and him together. Guess there should be no other profound intention, but this time it was really not quite right. How much did he tell you? About my... It should be more than these, right? I know all about it. Even the story of that man. The captain has all told me. Well, things like that, the man who claims to be a magician has been arrested. Things such as the mark on your neck, the magician who had lived in this country. I also heard of them from Captain Artorius. Father actually told you even this? Anyway, I think it's too much. Even I fainted in front of him and he saw the mark. As long as we wanted to hide, we could successfully hide it. Captain Artorius told, I guess is me. On the affair of the magician Langerdune family, my father also participated. For that precious tragedy, since there already occurred the name of my father, I had to participate in it. Yes, if your father is involved, then your father also. That's true. So he told me about it. So wait a second. So his father was also part of the group that killed all the sorcerers back in the day after they won the war? Is that what this is? I heard that my father and Uthia's father had a very good relationship at the beginning of the outbreak of the war, so the affair of the magician should have something to do with him also. It should be so. This is why he told him. Although I understand what has happened to the magician, but it does not mean I have believed that the man is the magician. Don't you think in the same way? I know I am. I'm just saying. Is it that you have already believed that Guy is the real magician? Probably because Uthia had not seen Marlowe's incredible magic, he made such kind of comment. Phil and I did not speak any word with just our lips tightly closed. Glancing at our movement, Uthia sighed. I do not know how many times it was today. Despite of that, after all, I also heard of your curse from Captain Artorius. I do not want to treat it as a lie. After all, I really saw your strange mark and saw that you fainted. He listened to me as if nothing had happened. Well, never mind what he said just now. I was still surprised how not to say that, waiting for him to say the next sentence. Uthia suddenly stopped. Uthia suddenly moved his sight away and continued. Anyway, well, if such a thing happened, if you die, it will result in other issues. Well, okay. If you need some time, I can help you. Yeah. Do you really mean it? I cannot help but asking him again after he finished. So basically, if she dies, he doesn't want her to die because he didn't want to fucking do more work. That's what I'm thinking. Although Uthia seemed to be very surprised and took a step back, I still immediately caught his hands. It will be a great help, Uthia. It is so hard to carry out investigation while keeping it from others as secret. If you are willing to help, it would be easier on me. Idiot. Idiot, you think too much. It is not for you, but for our knights, and further, for this country. It does not matter. Thank you, Uthia. I was so happy, and said this to him, clutching his hand. Uthia's face immediately flushed. Was it because he was angry so that his face flushed? But now the fact that helping men increased made me really happy. Wait, helping men increased made me really happy. I don't know what that means. I know. Please let my hand go. But anyhow, what would you prepare to do for the procession since you are under such circumstances? Procession? Oops. You actually forget? What a person you are. Procession? Yes, I completely forgot it. Uthia looked at me with an unbelievable look, but I really forgot about the procession. In the kingdom of Orkilia, we had several processions every year when all the knights collectively went out for procession. Can they say procession again? The purpose was to let the people see that the strength of our knight was still with them, and let them feel peace, and also to show authority and power of our country to other countries. I had also participated in several such regular demonstrations. It was for this reason why people in the city would know me or my name. So it's basically a military parade. Yes, how could I completely forget such an important thing? A week later, the procession would begin. Was it because of the so many things happened recently that I forget about it? No, it was not the reason for this problem. The question was that, could I normally participate in under my current physical condition? If I suddenly fainted in the process of the procession, that will be a very serious problem. Yeah, it would, Phil, because why the fuck would you be fainting? But you cannot skip the participation. Your face has also been known by many people. If you are not there, then surely there will be someone suspicious. That means we have to force her attend. Force her attend. Oh, God. How about you? Do you not care if this girl does not participate in the procession? Well, Phil suddenly lost his tongue. Indeed, no matter what was said by Phil or Uthia, we're all correct. If in the procession I fainted in the whole nation and other knights, not only my reputation, but even the reputation of all knights would be damaged. Even so, but if I did not participate, there would be some troubles. As Marlowe seemed to know my name, so he did this to me. It seemed that female knight had a more attractiveness to the nation than what I thought. Alright, I think this is actually where I can make it. Hold on. Alright. So I think if I join the parade, I get either Phil and Uthia's route. If I don't join the parade, then I'm on Marlowe's. And I don't want to do Marlowe's because this is boring. So let's just join the parade. What should I do in the end? Why? I thought I had to join. Come on, I'm trying to romance Uthia. Well, yeah, they're all boring, but I think Marlowe's even more boring. Okay, that's okay. I will definitely do it. But my lord, are you really sure about that? Yeah, I played this game before and I reviewed it. Who knows when you should feel uncomfortable all of a sudden? Phil asked me worriedly as I sang these words. I comforted Phil with a smile. If you were to be absent, people would become suspicious, right? The parade will only last a few hours. It should be okay if I am careful enough. Because it's funny. Because smashing Phil is basically him being all nice to you up until the very end. And he comes in and he's like, I'm gonna prove to you I'm a man. And then he fucks you. So it's like, whatever. If you faint all of a sudden, we will also get into trouble. Don't you know that? Know about that? Captain Uthia, it isn't a nice thing to say. Never mind, Phil. Uthia is right. Okay, yes. I do like fucking the bros, okay? Just like, this is escapism, alright? How about that? I'll try my best not to faint. Try your best to do what? Didn't you just faint in front of me once? If so, I will resort to my willpower. Are you an idiot? It seemed Uthia was so surprised from deep inside and let out a sigh. It might sound harsh, but that was true. I did faint in front of Uthia once, which increasingly lowered my already questionable credibility. But what else can I do? Phil was very bland. Uthia said in a wary voice as he frowned unconsciously, I know. We will do our best to assist you with whatever we can do, me and this guy. Uthia? What Uthia said was truly a surprise to me. He actually said that he would assist me. I wouldn't be surprised if Phil said these words, but that Uthia. Moreover, he was not giving in to other suggestions, but brought up the idea himself. They're not appealing, believe me, but it's just trying, I don't know. Then we will count on Captain Artorius again. If it's the former, the time left for the audience will also be shortened. Then, wait a minute, Uthia, you don't have to do this. I told you so. Your dishonor is our dishonor. Let alone you have such a high profile. He's so boring. Phil is boring. Could you please have some self-aware and keep in mind that you're always in the spotlight, therefore you are. Well, yes, I'm suddenly feeling sorry. Having my sore spot been revealed, I could not help but apologize. Uthia sighed again as if he had been fooled again. I said I would help you. Such things are still my responsibility. Unlike this dog face, some things can only be done by me. Just call him dog face. Huh? Well, it is true. It's true that you have a dog face, but can you say this in another way? Ugh. I can't even fight back. It sucks. Listening to Uthia and Phil bickering with each other, I could not help but laughed. The two then stared at me at the same time, as if saying we were talking about you. Thank you. Thanks to both of you. I'm feeling such relax. I will count on you for a couple of days. Of course, just count on me. Okay, I would only stay with you for a limited time. It's a limited time offer. Uthia emphasized once again, do not overthink. Phil couldn't help but laugh at hearing his words. Who would have known that Uthia had this side of him? It seemed hard to hate him completely. Oh god, hold on a second, I need water. Drinking straight vodka is making me thirsty. Yes, water. Oh my god. That's better. Alright, so I'm gonna save scum just in case. Oh yeah, I'm drinking this rosé flavored vodka. It's like, I was just drinking it out of the rocks. I'm not even mixing it. Mixing. Before the rite began, people were difficult to calm down in the noise. But I didn't feel tension that makes the whole body tense at ordinary times. There was only a vague concern. The parade was about to begin soon. I've got some rest the day before yesterday. There should be no problem as far as physical fitness is concerned. But the pain was hard to predict when it would come. My lady, are you alright? I'm fine, Phil. I feel better today. Oh my god, that was 2 lines in a row that actually made sense. Phil, who came to my side, inquired me with a worried expression. Although I couldn't do nothing about it, but being overly worried like this really made me feel upset. Even so, I am your superior anyhow. I hope he could trust me more. However, as expected, I won't be able to rest under the circumstances. It doesn't matter. Thanks to Father and Uthia, I had the courage to appear in front of you. In just a short time, I can manage it. Well, that's right. If there's anything, just tell me right away. Oh man, it's vodka's. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's booze. Sure enough, even Phil had made up his mind. He just said this and went back. Well, we were about to set out. Putting my hands on the heart, and I didn't know why it started beating, I slowly took a deep breath. Anyway, I'm still worried. No matter how many times I said to myself, it didn't matter, I couldn't calm down. Though I said so right on Phil's face, my mind was full of bad ideas. Appeared in front of everyone, my face became stiff all of a sudden. Suddenly, someone called my name when I pinched my face. Adelaide. Uthia came along. It's rare that he should have come to visit me. I tilted my head and asked what was wrong with him. His face was obviously squeezed together. Why did you make such an unexpected look? No, because in fact, I'm really surprised. If someone is sick as patient, I should pay a visit. Uthia mercilessly spit out the sentence. Sure enough, there would be such a strange thing. I wondered if I expressed that idea on my face. Uthia began to stare at me again. Do I look so ruthless? Compared with ruthless, I thought you hate me. No, I really feel very happy. Thank you for your concern. Probably. He surely didn't volunteer to come here. Uthia blushed and turned away. I'm not getting that mush-mouthed, okay? I'm not. He might as well not to come if he hated me so much to be angry. But I thought this should be his unique way of caring, and I was ashamed to refuse his kindness. It's about time to go. The parade is about to begin. If anything happens to you, please tell me right away. If you fell down, everyone would be very concerned. Ah, I see. My face relaxed and my expression began to ease as I realized. That's all right. I was not alone. I had Uthia, Phil, and my father being around. I didn't know if it's an illusion. I felt as if I was getting lighter. I'm not, you guys, I am not being that much mouth. Seriously, not yet. Alright, let me just chug this last bit of vodka and see how this goes. Oh! Yeah, I don't know about that rosé flavored vodka. Okay. I might need a snack. I might need something on my stomach for this. After glancing at the back of Uthia, who wished to hurry back, I also went to my own position. Oh, I think I might have some chips. Oh, but I don't want to be crunching chips in your ears. I might have some cookies. Moved towards the starting point, where everyone had assembled except me. Everyone seemed to look at me with their eager eyes. Only Phil was frowning. After a quick conclusions of the final negotiation, I heard the thumping sound of the rising salvo. This was the sound that announced the beginning of the procession. The knights were talking shut up now. The air was filled with a sense of tension, which was hard to describe. The parade was basically made up with different teams and different routes. Although there would also be cases when the road could not be passed through because of the crowds, but the most important reason was to pass as many places as possible, even though there were fewer people. Finally, a confluence was formed near the city. From the beginning, only Team 1, Team 2, and our team used the same route. As a matter of fact, it's common that there could only be one team and one route. You guys really want me to have more vodka? Because I think I might have had just 2 shots in the last hour. That's like 2 drinks. This time, we were the only team who used the road. Here was the nearest route from the city, though which one could leave faster than anyone else and return to the city faster than anyone else. Oh God, no! I don't do whiskey. I could do some tequila though. I thought it must be my father and Uthia who were helping me. If anything happened, it would be troublesome. In fact, it was really a great help. I am still in good shape now. If it was only a parade, I should be able to work it out. My lady, it's going to start. Phil stood by me and said. I nodded to him and said, I got it. Then I strengthened the rein in my hand. Even though today might be a harsh day, I would say thank you for that. I put my hand on the neck of my horse. It seemed that he was saying, trust me, and he made some noise from his nose. At this time I heard the sound of the second gun salute. It was the sound of sending signals. After having heard the sound, I turned to my soldiers who were waiting. All right, let's move. They nodded heads seriously. When I got their confirmation, I turned my face in front and rode slowly forward. I didn't know if they were worrying about the bad condition of my body. Anyway, they were moving slower than before. Alright. I'm pretty sure, like, after this chapter, like, shit gets moving. Fast. Supposedly. The march that got started, we got nowhere to hide. I joined into them with the increasing loud cheers from the people. Oh. Man. We moved to the wide road from the hidden place. The marching band met us here, then we were heading towards the city. This was such a short distance compared with normal situation, but I just didn't feel right about it. I tried to convince myself that what I needed to do was to finish the mission. Along with the renovated road, people gathered here in line to take a look at the parade. On the first sight of us, the crowd came up. Is she really? I had been a member of the visiting crowd before. It was still hard for me to get used to being watched, even though I had this experience for several times. I just felt uncomfortable, but I tried to keep my manners as usual. I responded to the sight on the road and moved on. When I waved my hand gently, the sound of cheers became louder. Did you see that? Lord Adelaide waved hand to me. He's not. He waved to me. Wow, Lord Adelaide is so handsome today. Aha. I knew the identity of being a lady when I decided to be a knight. Anyway, I was brought up in that way before about this. I was not going to talk about it. But even saying so, when was being treated as a man now? I didn't know how to react properly. Although I was not lucky and born as a girl, no matter how hard I practiced, I couldn't be as strong as a man. I didn't know what was going on, but it seemed to be a good thing to the girls. It was not true that I was not happy, but it was indeed hard to explain. No wonder you're my lady. You were so popular today. Phil, if you have time to care about me, it's better you wave hands to the people. Yes, you were right. Phil said so and left me by my side in panic. He was obviously not used to the parade. He was nervous normally, but today he was even worse. He smiled stiffly and arm days. He smiled stiffly and waved hands rigidly, just like the iron doll. Okay, can we get through this already? The road from here was wide and flat. I didn't see any problems with it. Hey! Coming in for the good stuff, Mav. Ugh. This is just like... This is not helping my oral diction skills. Looking at the people in the city, I took a sign slowly and peacefully. Did you say sign or a sigh? I don't know. It's gotta be ending soon. Kept moving and the crowd was also increasing. This might be the proof of we were approaching the city. It's bad. It's really bad. Nothing happened. We arrived here successfully, and we were about to meet the other armed forces. I didn't even know which army it was. But whatever, an army was okay. I just wanted to go back to city before I fell down. The sweat were rolling over my back. In order not to be perceived of this, I tried my best to keep my back straight and looked at the people. Looking at people were thrilled by my movements, I realized that I mustn't fall down here. I tried to ignore the killing pain from my neck, and I held the rein. The music from the distance was coming closer. I knew that there came the other army. And the sound of the horses' footsteps were getting closer. Who were they exactly? Finally, when we converged, it came out that it should be Uthia. He was followed by his army. Uthia saw me and walked towards me. The leaders must walk neck by neck. The moment we came close, Uthia tried to talk with me in a low voice. How are you feeling now? It will never end. We have to get through the pain before we can get through the pleasure. Just remember that. Even though it's hard to say that I'm all good, I will try to make it to city. We'll be concerned if you can't. Shit. In order not to be heard by other people, we stopped the conversation quickly. Uthia rode his horse and moved on like nothing just happened. Unexpectedly, he gave me the impression that he was a detail-oriented person. Since we were here, what we were going to do was heading straight to the city, and it wouldn't take too much time. What? Okay, something's happening, guys. The people were getting more and more. It made me feel hard and bad. Meanwhile, the pain in my neck started. I had to tell Uthia that I would stick to the city, but to be honest, I felt no confidence for sticking to return. No, now it was not the time to give up. I must get out of here. I must speed up the horse. I took a look at Uthia next to me. When we made eye contact, Uthia frowned slightly. Even you are in this condition. You mustn't fall down here. You know it. He told me that with his eyes and turned his face to other side. I thought he must understand it. When I was about to ride my horse, Uthia strengthened his rein. His horse hissed violently. People turned to him after hearing the sound and gave him the praise no matter whoever heard. Uthia was very satisfied with the result. I took a look at him. I felt that he attracted all the attention to him. This might be a special case of carry. No, horses don't hiss. When all the things were over, I have to thank him for that. Oh god, I think I need more vodka for this. I speeded up in a way people might thought it was unnatural, and we headed to the city. Alright, the parade's over. Thank God. Oh, shit. Once we arrived, I handed my army to someone else and quickly escaped towards the stable. After I got off my carefully attended horse, I rushed to my room immediately. That doesn't look like rushing. The mole on my wait, I thought it was a fucking cursed like tattoo. It's not a mole. The mole on my neck was too scorching that I couldn't feel the pain. Even worse, I almost couldn't feel my hands and feet. Thank goodness, the parade was successfully finished. I finally didn't make a fool of myself in public. Anyway, I just wanted to get back to my room as soon as possible. Even though I felt sorry for them, I would also thank them for helping me with the rest stuff. They must also understood me. Exactly. I wanted to go to some place with nobody there, but my feet were too heavy to walk. Ah! My feet got tripped, and I almost fell down. I knew there was something wrong, but it was too late. When I was getting close to the ground, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Someone grabbed me by my wrist before the falling, and I heard the voice of Uthia. I struggled to stand up and turn to him. It was indeed Uthia who grabbed my wrist. "I'm sorry. Thank you for your help. Why don't you Why don't you let me know that you were coming back? I knew that you would fall down." "I didn't think it over. I'm sorry." "That's it. No need to apologize. I should be proud that I did not fall down during the parade." Even I was leaning against Uthia. It was also hard for me to stand up. At this moment, I heard another voice. "He was here for you." I heard Uthia said that. I looked up, and I saw Phil came to me in panic. "My lady, are you all right?" "During the last period of the parade, you looked ill." I am well. Or should I say that it was so good to finish it smoothly." "Don't be too brave. Now you know. Now you go to the medical room. A relevant person should leave." I like how he nicknamed Phil just a relevant person. My lady, cheer up, my lady." "Hey, can you hear me?" Looking at Uthia. Wait, hold on! Who's Sophia? Looking at Sophia, who showed his rare care, and Phil, who was worrying about me and ignoring other people, I couldn't help smiling. But I had, God, but he had run out of my awareness. Shit. I could just hear them calling my name. Finally, I closed my heavier eyelids. Oh, shit. You can't make this shit up. You can't. Okay. It was very clear that my energy was fading away since the parade. As it was difficult to hide the secret, I came to my own house, the mansion of Adelaide, where I had been living in seclusion now. That house was empty before. I had my own room and there was some personal stuff, but my father and I were once living in the night dormitory. This house had not been equipped with staff for a long time. Sometimes the servants would go there and do some cleaning, thus I could live there without any disturbance. My father had spoken with the night regiment. He told them I was on an expedition, so I would not be suspected. My lady, are you awake? When I was looking outside of the window, I heard a knock on the door. Someone was knocking the door politely. I knew it must be Phil. He came here a lot. I sat on the bed and let him in. Phil got some food in his hand. He entered the room carefully. My lady, how do you feel today? Do you feel painful on your body? I am feeling perfect today. I'm sorry to disturb you all the time, Phil. No, you are not. This is the only thing I can do for you, Phil said, and he looked lost. I had been disturbing him all these days, so I thought it was also hard for him. When I took the food from Phil, he suddenly jumped to another topic. The commander said that we had got the quinine fruit. He also said, although we spent a lot of time, we finally succeeded. Ah, well, thank you for letting me know. You're welcome. And it's said that we hadn't found the flowers yet. That I am also very hard to find. Wait, you're hard to find? Phil told falteringly and hard organized his words. God, I can't speak this shit. Something must have crossed his mind that he thought he could not say. For example, not giving up or anything like that. I have already stopped here. So far, I just looked at my body helplessly. My breath became weaker, and I spent my last days. However, it's inconceivable that I was no longer angry with facing Marlowe, and I was no longer indignant with facing unreasonable things. My heart felt so peaceful that I was surprised at myself. I watched Phil carefully that made great efforts for me. His eyes were already dark circles. With this sense of guilty, I changed the subject, asked Phil something. God. By the way, Marlowe. You know what? Fuck this. I need more booze. I can't do this. By the way, Marlowe, what about that guy? That guy is still the same. He always says that, what if this side his handle? I don't know if it's me drinking more that's making this harder to read, or if the fucking writing is getting worse. He always says, what if this side his handle? It's sure that side goes together. It's no big harvest, and I have no idea what the fuck he just said. Probably it's pretty annoyed that I mentioned the Marlowe subject, Phil said without hesitation. What would be happen to him if I died? Probably he was angrily killed. In that case, the wishes of magician would come true. Probably. Only his purpose was to kill the knight. He must have accepted any punishment if I died. God, you guys! Thanks for backing me up here. When I thought this, I didn't know why my heart was a bit painful. Why did I have to worry about the guy who cured me? Oh, we're gonna smash! It's coming, it's soon. Please, my lady, I can cheer up. I will try my best to find it. So please, my lady, don't worry about anything and have a good rest. Shut up. Guys. Depending on how quickly we smash, we might get to smash both of these guys. We'll see. Phil mistakenly thought that I was silent because I was worried about my health, so he said to me. I smiled a bit for his words. Phil's face is red immediately. Today I always talked about the things that met in a team. If I died, Phil must cry. What about Uthia, father? How would they do? I can't imagine their crying faces, and while I agreed to what Phil said, I made great efforts to imagine. It turned out to be a failure. Oh, shit. I have to blow my nose here soon, too. I'm starting to get all stuffed up. Don't breathe in my water, please. Okay. After waking up, I finally realized I was sleeping before this. This had happened recently. Okay, don't inhale water. I didn't intend to go to sleep, but I didn't know when I would fall asleep. I felt bad in my mouth and get up to drink water, but inexplicably felt that my body was very heavy. The gate just opened when I cheered up and tried to stand up. You, get up. What? I did. I battled it hard. Father came in. When he saw me, he had a surprised look on his face and came quickly to my pillow. Father seldom came to see me specially, and he had an anxious look like that. I bowed to my father and felt something faintly wrong. Yes, I just wake up. Well, Father, why does you come here? Why does you come here? Seriously. I hear you don't have waked up for 3 days and decided to come to see you. 3 days? I thought I'd fall into a few hours of light sleep again. No, you can't smash the dad. Unexpectedly, I had been sleeping for a few days, but there are games in which you can. Not lying, there are otome games in which you can. But waited. That's the reason why my body was so stiff. Now I can understand my father's expression. But it's nice, you wake up. Uthia, they also very worry about you. By the way, would you like some water? Yes, of course. Please, give me a cup of water. Father picked up the water bottle on the corner of the small table and poured the water and passed it to me. I took and took a sip. It's really comfortable, that distinct feeling of the cool thing slid down the throat. Oh, I need a sip. Okay. I'll have someone deliver the food later. Are you hungry? No, not very. Before this, you were still sleeping. It's better to eat some food. Father's mood was too unusual and so gentle, and I had nothing to say. I requested you to do that, and Father nodded with satisfaction. My father said nothing while I was drinking water. I was so embarrassed when I was stared by my father. Okay, this is making me very uncomfortable, you guys. I'm getting uncomfortable. Or I found a topic. What should I say? I racked my brain, but Father spoke first. I've always felt really sorry for you. Father? I was flabbergasted when I heard this and looked up at my father. The look of Father bowing and frowning greeted my eyes. Oh god, I'm getting giggly. This is what happens when I drink too much. His weak voice as usual let me be confused. I steadily stared at my father's face. It never occurs to me that I should have been punished in such a way. I am really sorry for you, Adelaide. I do drink vodka. Father doesn't have to apologize to me. First, it's mainly a tribute to myself, who am wounded by Marlowe. Although it was evening, it is my misstep that I take the enemy's attack blindly. No, it's my mistake. Because of me, it just rolls you in. What? I called my father and interrupted him, and then Father would remain silent. My father looked at me with helpless face. Han, you can't show that look. What, Han? What? What is Han supposed to mean? You should be in existence whenever you had an impressive presence and were respected by everyone. Father, I'm not afraid of death. I devote my life long to Kingdom of Fordkilia. When I became a knight, no, when I was born in the world, I swear like this. You are wrong, Adelaide. It's me to swear. It's my responsibility. Sure, it is Father, who have trained me to be a knight. But I don't blame Father once for this. On the contrary, I appreciate you so much. I've been looking forward to you. Wait, what? Did he just say he was looking forward to me? If it were not Father's requirement, I would have chosen the way of knight. So, Father, don't say that, please. From before, I've been looking forward to being a man like Father. That's what makes me who I am today. So I asked Father not to say that you regret to let me become a knight. I think this is supposed to be a very heartfelt, emotional moment, but yeah, Adelaide. For me, you can't say those words. You're my father, and it's something that I'd always been proud of. Whenever I went, Father was my direction. You had always been a proud father since I was a child. Because of this, I don't want to hear that Father said weak words. If I allowed myself to think in this way, I always felt I was going to say something rather embarrassing. I said that you probably looked down on me. I blushed so deeply red after giving an account of these ideas hidden in my mind all these days. When wondering what excuse is good, I heard a laugh from Father. I raised my head with an astonishment and found a tender smile on my father's face. Now think about this. We seem to never talk to each other as a father and a daughter. Be that as it may, I am still very happy. Father came back once in a while and guided the training of me. Although I never win Father in swordsmanship. You can win me now. I haven't used sword. I haven't used sword in a long time. Please tell me that. Okay. Alright, I'm drinking too much. Impossible. I definitely cannot surpass Father. Thanks for the sub, Zed. Thank you. Oh, shit. I were so happy when I knew Father's concern about me. I am very vulnerable. So does my soul and my body. Shit. This is really creeping me out here, you guys. I hate my female body. God. I know I got a subscriber. I'm so excited. I had thought countless times, if I were a boy, I would be a knight as drunk as my father. And I feel very, very excited about that. I will buy more vodka. Even so, I could still treasure this body because of the praise. This is sounding really fucked up, you guys. Because of the praise from my father. Because my father told me that just because you are female, you will be able to outperform men male in many different places. To be like my father, to be a knight stronger than my father is my dream. It looks like the dream can't come true after all. Adelaide, there's no such thing. No, I understand it. After all, it is my own body, and I know about my own limits. Father, if I died for the country right here and right now, at least I would sacrifice as a knight, even if I can't match Father's achievements. For the country and for my father, they made me fear nothing when facing death. That is why I can be so calm. But if someone said that my sacrifice was in vain, I couldn't help holding Father's arm and asked him this question seriously. I hoped that he could say yes to me, even cheating. I wondered whether he could read my mind. He nodded seriously. Sure, you are already a knight, even more outstanding than me. If so, it's okay. My, I die without any regret now. My eyes dampened. I bowed my head, holding the brimming tears desperately in Father's presence. Should I have bitten my tongue? I'm heading back. Time shall come, and I will come again. All right, I'll be waiting. May I send someone to fetch some food? Who shall it be? Oh, this is it. This is where we get to choose who we get to bang. We get to choose to... Oh my god! I got another sub! Oh my gosh, this is an exciting day. Okay, hold on. We're gonna bang Uthia, right? And then if we have enough time, we'll bang Phil. Okay, I got it. We're going with Uthia. Oh, shit. Alright, this calls for some more booze. Let me go pour a little more vodka. Hold on. Alright, I got a little bit more. It's like another shot. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I should add a pickaxe. That's a good one. Alright, so whom to choose. Okay, I don't want to do... So we're slave scumming. Right, there we go. Alright. I raised my head after hearing a loud knock at the door. I told the caller the door was unlocked, and the door creaked open instantly. Entered Uthia. Oh god, I think this is it. Some porridge-like stuff sat on the tray he was carrying. Seems true enough that you have awoken. Darn, thought you were going to hibernate. Okay. I'm sorry to ask you come over here. You subordinates are so good at creating a disturbance. It should be coming soon. Is that right? What happened when I fell asleep? Nothing special, isn't it? Uthia put the tray in front of me and sat down on the chair next to me. I could use Twitch emotes. I'll figure it out later. Let's get to the banging, because I'm pretty sure it happens in this chapter. Oh god. I'm getting congested from all this reading. The fragrant vapor of hot soup emitted from the plate and suffused the entire room. Though it aroused my appetite, I did not try to taste it. It seemed Uthia has noticed this. There was a deep frown on her face when she was looking at me. Okay, why is she just starting to call Uthia a chick? Like, seriously. If you don't eat anything for 3 days, even if you are not cursed, you will die. Yes, yes. But I couldn't reach out my hand. What's more, I don't feel hungry at all. And now his body is so heavy that he don't want to lift his arm to eat. Wait! Is she calling herself a him now? Oh my god. I looked at the plate for a while, and then Uthia made a sudden grumbling. I think you already dead. I can't wake you up. I think you were hopeless. Uthia said in a rare and sullen voice, and I looked at him in surprise. Uthia frowned, ferociously loudly said. Ferociously loudly said. That being said, why you can have a facial expression that doesn't matter. Aren't you afraid? You're going to die. That sort of thing you know best, isn't it? Yes, I know that. Hold on. Oh god, I'm getting so congested. Alright, let me go blow my nose before we get to the good bits. Sorry, an hour and a half of non-stop reading does that to me. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I know that. Just because you know, you can calm down. I was meant to die, but it is a lucky escape. Woo. Woo. Uthia grabbed my collar and put his face close to me. He glared at me. His face was as undisguised as ever. You are so comfortable. You go on like that, no matter when you treat me. Well... Uthia? Abhorrent. It doesn't matter. Commander Artorius is going to do it anyway. It's been a bad time, and it's time for him to pick it up. Uthia threw me away and walked away from me. He left the sentence I cannot understand. I was a little surprised. So I said to Uthia, who was sitting on the bench impatiently, No, Father won't allow that to happen. What do you say? Or what did you say? I don't know what's going on. Actually, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Uthia glared at me. Despite he was confused, but I didn't think he thought that way. Since Marlowe was going to collect the flowers, he should have made some representations with me. I will reveal the magician, or I will punish my father. None. Father will compromise. You don't understand. You will die if you don't. Yes, but even if I die, I can't agree to the conditions. Whoever is cursed is the same. My father will choose the glory of the nation, not my life. Even when I said this, Uthia kicked off a chair and came at me. The momentum was much stronger than just now. Uthia twisted me tightly with strength that almost killed me. What the fuck? What made him so angry? I was completely puzzled, and it was not time to think slowly. You always like this. It is always so easy to get where I can't touch. What? What? Oh, I'll call my mother-in-law back after this. Uthia, well, you say what? Oh yes, I used to envy you very much. You'll try to do whatever you want, even if it's something you can't do. I was surprised by what he said, and I stopped trying to break the arm of Uthia. Envy? He said who envied whom? Uthia, he said he envied me? I am not reconciled to it. Even though I am a man, I have never won you once before. I know, it's not fault. Does never fucking fails. I was thinking that one day I would have to fight back, so I went to where I am today. Well, are you running when you win? Uthia, no matter when you are so strong. The wrist of Uthia gradually loosened the force. I did not know when his cry became wailing. He's wailing now? His fist pounded on my chest. It didn't hurt very much. But he's fucking hitting me. This bastard's hitting me. I didn't say anything, though he kept pounding. I want to be a strong knight who can at least guard you. It's been sworn. What's the result? Don't tell me that I'm even protected. Right, Adelaide? Woo. More woos. But you tell me that death is not terrible. No kidding. If you were to die, I would have cried. It's so easy for a client to say something embarrassing to me. What? This is the first time that I have seen such a Uthia. Come back and look around. Yes, Uthia are chasing behind me at all times. Uthia always challenge me and want to defeat me. I always like to play with him like that. So I trained myself to deploy it. In order to improve ourselves and compete with each other, we can have today's result. We don't know whether sobbing Uthia has been crying or not. He wiped his face with his sleeve rudely. I wanted to lend him a handkerchief, but when my hand stretched out, he snapped my hand away. Behind the drooping bang, his eyes stared at me like a beast. How could he be killed? I'll never let you die. Oh, Uthia, wait a minute. What the hell are you doing? The patient shuts up. Would you please give me an honest day at this time? Wait for a moment, Uthia. I don't think you like that. I just think you and I have the same ambition, or childhood. You see, it's still nothing to understand. When I stood up and planned to leave the room, Uthia stopped when he heard my voice. Then he smiled a slightly lonely smile. His expression was so bitter that I held my breath in surprise. Whatever you want to say, I'll keep you alive. Uthia. Woo. I also wanted to say something, but Uthia stopped talking. Fuck! I thought we were gonna bang! What happened? Seriously, the door slammed shut, and then I heard the sound of footsteps disappearing. I was left in the room by a man, and the lingering thing in my mind was the sobbing face of Uthia. You see, it still understood nothing. He smiled helplessly. What did he mean? What? I didn't understand. I didn't know, Uthia. I won't understand if you don't talk straightly as usual. Although I wanted to think about it, my body got into the quilt, and the feeling of drowsiness came. In the end, I could not understand what he said, and fell asleep. Oh, God. Okay, I think it's coming soon. And so is she. Let's see. So that's Uthia. Oh, we got different music, guys. Different music. After that, Uthia never came here. He seems to be busy, said Phil, who often came here. It is true that Uthia is the captain, and his work may increase if I am not there. Besides, if he came over, he might say something unpleasant, so I didn't care. Although I tried to tell Phil to deliver the message several times, I didn't say anything at all finally. As time passed, my L strength, is that an L? Has decreased little by little. According to Phil, there's not much progress. Father and Phil have been helping me find it, but I haven't found it yet. Although I also wanted to help, but recently I have not been able to stay awake for a long time, and quietly reading also can unconsciously fall asleep. Although I was embarrassed, I couldn't help it anyway. I just have to rest my body and try to live a little longer. This was my own body. I knew I was coming to an end. I didn't know when it was going to the end, and I didn't know when I'm going to die until the end of my life. It's not scary, I just thought I'm a little vexed. Sometimes I eat a little bit of food that Phil sent me, and then I just am in a sleeping. I even expected it end early. Now it looks really ugly. At this moment, I would like to see Uthia again. I want to explain to him a little bit. If I can, I'd like to give my troops to Uthia. At least until the next captain is decided, he could take over. There were many words to say. However, Uthia did not show any sign of coming, whether I wait or not. There are some problems, and I can't ask them now. Maybe you can ask Phil, but I didn't dare to do that. God, can we just fucking get through this? I wasted time casually and waited for death approaching step by step. So, what should I do? I lay on my bed, letting my body sink into the soft quilt and thinking about how many times I thought about it. God. Why don't we just ask Phil to bring Uthia over at the end of the day? Or maybe I'll just write a letter, but then I'll have to think about whether I have to ask Phil. The door... Wait, that wasn't a rung! That wasn't... The door didn't ring. That was a knock. The door was rung, and it sounded politely. I answered. I thought it was Phil again, but to my surprise, it was Uthia. Yeah, really. Uthia entered the room quietly. He sat down on a chair beside the bed and said nothing. After a moment, Uthia said, he must have something to do here. It's something about flowers. I haven't found it. Thus it is. You are still looking for it, this sentence nearly blurted out before the urge was finally suppressed. If I had said it in that way, he would have been angry like the last time it was shown. It should be on my deathbed now. Before my death, I should at least talk to him peacefully. I browsed most of the books in the castle's library. It might also be casual words from the man, although there's only this clue left. Really? Can I say if you could be more serious, this is about your case? But if I couldn't be of any help, this is the only response that could be rendered. After hearing this, Uthia's face became quickly upset, saying, "Thus then," and slumped back into the chair, looking as if he had changed his mind. I thought probably it was just because this was a conversation before the death, that it could be processed in such a peaceful way. God, can we just get through this? So that's it. Recently, I plan to browse some books from abroad. I will continue to investigate. If I find out something, I will tell you right away. I got it. Wait a moment. Why did this guy speak like we were writing a report? Perhaps he had said all he wanted to say, so after saying that's all about it, he didn't talk anymore. Having noticed his face exposing his desire to say which he didn't have... Oh god. Which he hadn't yet... I looked at him silently. You know what's the worst thing in the world? Machine translation talking, basically translating people being purposely vague in the shit they're saying. How long would it take? It was a long time before Uthia finally said it again, difficultly. During this time, I talked to Commander Artorius. Probably this is what he really wanted to say. I nodded, implying he continued his speaking. Uthia started to mutter, lowering his head. We've talked about you, and just as what you said, Commander Artorius said he didn't have the contention to ask that man for help. That's reasonable. Well, how can you be so calmed down? Do you think it right to let Father's death alone without trying to save? What? Leaving alone without saving? If you think in this way, Uthia, you are not right. It's not that he left me alone without saving. It's he empathized with my feelings that... What? I honestly think the writing's getting worse. Uthia frowned, looking as if he was not satisfied with this explanation. Would he want to comment on me again? However, it made me annoyed to that Uthia misunderstood me in such a careless way. If he gave up the country just for me, I would despise him instead. But he wouldn't be like that. Father is a person of clear judgment and can differentiate right from wrong. This kind of thing. Then what do you want to do? Is it worth it to sacrifice yourself for the country? It is worth it. If I died for the country, there would be no pity for me. Although knowing Uthia would feel angry about saying these, I still spoke them out. Just as I had expected, when I thought he would start his own speech, Uthia slammed me again. Oh god, here it comes. Uthia slammed me upon the bed. Although I was laid on the bed, the soft quilt, such a strength still made me painful. Seeing Uthia had exhausted all his strength and adding his weight upon my body, I couldn't help but laughing. Shit. I'm really surprised, Uthia. I thought you could say something like to sacrifice yourself for the country. You. And then, is it because you couldn't persuade my father? Then you came over and told me about it? I can't believe that you are a loser. You were beaten and just escaped, and I am so annoying to you. Shut up, Adelaide. Under some such circumstances, even though he was full of bravado, it was nothing to be afraid of. My hand was put on Uthia, and he suppressed my wrist. I want to pull him away, but it is impossible for me with my present strength. You not more wayward in comparison. Is that right, Uthia? Guys. You said you've never beat me. That's for sure. You're like a grumpy little child now. I'm not down to lose to such a guy. I told you to shut up. Don't you understand? You were really pitiful, Uthia. You didn't even win me a woman once. If you serve as captain, I'm afraid the knights will fall too. You guy. What? There was a blunt sound and a sharp pain on the face. Dude, he fucking slapped her. Realizing that I was hit, a smile swelled from the bottom of my heart. I was not going to endure that, and laughed out at Uthia's oppression. And then he said with more strength, what was so funny? He asked, what was so funny? Wasn't it ridiculous? You hit me, just because you couldn't out-argue me? Well done, Uthia. Isn't it? What a hopeless man you are. Well, that's right, I'm just a man like that. You're different from me. You're a woman. Well, yeah. A woman should act like a woman. Just wait here, please. I knew my hand has been exhausted, and I was supposed to should push Uthia. The excitement just went out in a flush, and the mind was clear enough. Turning my sight, I stared at Uthia, who was straddling on me. Oh, seriously? How did he stop? Now he's straddling her? Oh god, I need another sip. As expected, he was also very anxious, but it was too late. I heard it clearly. I heard that this guy said I was just a woman. I kicked Uthia's flank with all my force while he was a little fearful. He was probably careless and fell from the bed all of a sudden. With a bang, Uthia fell on the floor. He probably rolled off immediately without extra trouble and got up soon. What he wanted to say was interrupted by my voice. So, that's what you think of me. I really don't want to say that I understood. But put it simple. You were just unwilling to lose to a woman. No, How could you say no? Yes, that's right. I'm a woman. For this reason, I practice harder than anyone else and come to here where I am now. Half of the speech, I felt not reconciled at all, and tears have already rolled down without awareness. Uthia looked at me in surprise. When saw him cautiously approaching me, I roared out, "Get out of here! Get out of here! I don't want to see you anymore! Adelaide, wait! I am! Get out!" I grabbed pillow handy and threw to Uthia forcibly. Unwilling and annoyed, I squatted down and began to cry silently with unwillingness and angry. Ah, damn it! Wasn't it just a hopeless woman that cried in this place? Shit. After a little while, I heard Uthia's departing. Wait, we're not to the smashing yet? Seriously? The door was snapped closed. The patter of tears fell down like pressing the start button when I heard the sound. The tears make a pressing the start button sound. Guys. God. Uthia. I didn't want to hear what Uthia had said to me. Perhaps because he was my opponent, just to hear him say that I was just a woman, that I couldn't overcome the sorrow. Oh, that's true. She has to be cured. Maybe I feel sick after being hit, and there is still a faint smell of blood in my mouth. Seriously, he hit her so hard, she's fucking bleeding. Even this made me feel disappointed, and I prayed that no one would come over as I cried like an idiot. Oh my god. You know what I like about this game? Is basically, she gets cursed, she's sick, and is laid up for half of the story, and then they fuck. That's basically the story. Uthia never came again. Even if he came, I would only... God. Even if he came, I would only seem to curse him, so it would be regarded as a sigh of relief. After that, I calmed down and reflected on myself. Although I said a few sharp words, I didn't want to apologize to him, honestly. I wondered whether Phil heard some of the story, and he seemed to know it, and brought up the topic of Uthia occasionally. But it was sorry that all that these worked with counter effect. Though I was not very happy to say goodbye in a quarrel, I could not forgive him for this reason. Although the fear of death was fading away day after day, it was interesting that the anger at him was increasing with each passing day. I also wanted to live peacefully before dying, but that may not be the answer to keep thinking about it. Only the mood of giving up everything gradually became stronger. It was not far from the death when I wouldn't feel any regret for this. It was hard to say that I was still alive, for I spent most of the day sleeping. Someone broke into the house in utter consternation when I was napping in the state of not knowing whether I was asleep or... What? Asleep or awake? Okay. I thought it should be Phil without turning head around, and heard the footsteps approaching step by step. Just then, my body was suddenly rudely shaken. I woke up from the light sleep with a rush. Open your mouth. Oh God. I could hear Uthia's voice. Although I wanted to question why he came, but shrug away from him with no strength. Uthia held me up, and I felt something touched my mouth. I know, that's just not what I want to wake up to. While I was thinking, something liquid suddenly flew into my mouth and made me nearly choked. Oh God. Rather than listening to his command to open my mouth, instead I felt forced to open my mouth. I thought I would never die of drowning on land. I kept coughing, but Uthia still didn't let me go. As a result, I almost drunk up that thing with tears. Finally, I got rid of him and coughed a lot. Uthia's hand stretched out to my neck. I thought he would choke me. I was going to say that you really wanted to kill me so much, right? But I couldn't make it because of the pain. Uthia looked at my neck and whispered unbelievably, "Really? It's gone." What? You say what? Wait! God. Yes, yeah, he does. An idea flashed in my mind. I pushed the stunned Uthia and walked to the mirror hanging on the side wall. I hurried to look at my neck in the mirror. It's gone. I examined over and over. The nevis was really gone. What the fuck is a nevis? Oh God. I wondered... Okay, I can do this. I wondered whether it would be on the other side, so I looked, but I couldn't find the inauspicious matter annoying me. As I was confirming, my body suddenly softened. When I was just about to be collapsed, I heard Uthia's anxious voice. The arms were pulled at once. I looked up and saw the tense expression on Uthia's face. Ah, Uthia. The arms were pulled with stronger force. When I came to sense, I was already in Uthia's arms. He hugged me tightly, making me hurt and hard to breathe. However, I did not push him away. That's great, really. You don't have to die. That's great. Oh! I couldn't see Uthia's face, but I could hear his trembled voice. Hearing this, I realized again, so I was surely saved. After getting this, a warm thing surged up and the sight began to dim. Uthia's warm temperature made me relieved. As a result, I couldn't not help to grip him. Am I really saved? Of course, there is no one could kill you. I am still alive? Yes, that's right, you're still alive, still alive. Uthia embraced me more tightly. I heard his sobs, and perhaps that was what touched my nerves. Tears that I could hardly hold back trickled down one after another. I just wanted to sense that I was still alive, even if only a little, so I hugged Uthia tightly. Uthia, well, the result, to my father, to our state. No, the regiment did nothing. We don't have the aid of that guy. I picked the flower. Eh? What? How to make it? Because that's the place where only the magician could go. Didn't Marlowe say that? Then how Uthia got this? How to pick it? I didn't think Uthia was lying, even though it was incredible. So I was really saved without sacrificing anything. So we are through with it. You don't have anything to worry about. I don't know, is that a laughing? Or I don't know what the fuck she's saying. Now I realize that I had always been afraid of death. Afraid that I could never to see Father and Phil again. Afraid so much that I could never meet Uthia. The tears burst and poured out, and I just felt so dread. But at the same time, I was so happy that I could not tell my mood at this moment. I tried to hold Uthia before me, sobbing like a child. Uthia, in fact, I am very afraid. I'm afraid that I'm going to die, but I don't want to bother my father. I'm afraid too. I'm afraid that you will die, but the most fearful person should be you. And I just said some wayward words. God, just get to the banging already. Uthia, I am sorry for leaving a terrible memory. But it doesn't matter now. You have been saved, so... Even so afraid, I still said that it was no big deal at that time. I already gave up then. If not Uthia, I would like to die. Even now I still felt scared for the fact. An irrepressible fear crawled through the body, making my body unable to stop trembling. Uthia seemed to try to calm me down and tightened his arms. Adelaide, it's all right. There's nothing to be afraid of. Oh, really? So calm down, okay? Well, yes, you know how he's gonna calm her down. Adelaide. Oh yeah, here it is. All of a sudden, I thought Uthia would let me go, but he snapped a hand on my face. And then, just like this, his face came close to me, and he pressed his lips to mine. We got the kiss. Everything happened so fast that I could not make any response. But a moment later, I realized that I was kissed. Hurriedly want to leave, but Uthia grabbed me firmly. A moment later, something slippery came into my mouth, and my body couldn't stop shaking. Oh God. I was almost forced at first, but gradually our tongues entangled with each other. I did not know when I stopped the tears. Only responding to Uthia made me hard to distract. After a while, Uthia slowly loosened me. Uthia looked at me with slightly red on his face. Calm down, don't you? I'm so really sorry for this. I calmed down and became conscious of what I had done and Uthia's behavior. Obviously finally survived. Why would I feel so embarrassed that I want to simply die? Uthia still stared at me and I looked away with embarrassment. But Uthia did not allow me to do so and held my chin tightly, forcing me to look forward. It's true. It's fucking true. That's what these games are. Oh my God. You've been like this since before. No matter what happens, you always bear it on your own. Boo. Well, I'm sorry that. So I have to worry about you too. That's what I've always thought about. I couldn't help lifting my head when I heard what he said. Uthia smiled with shyness. I want to be stronger than you, and I want to be strong enough to protect you, and that's what I've been working for all the time. Uthia. I feel very irritable every time I see you. Feel very angry. But it wasn't about you, but about myself who couldn't protect you every time. You didn't hate me? Didn't you feel unwilling for lose to a woman? What's going on now? But finally you said you want to protect me. All this is my losing temper. It's really embarrassing. What am I doing on Earth? Uthia, it's not that. You're right. I'm a grumpy kid. I didn't grow up at all. Uthia. Calling his name, I kissed him on the lips. As I expected, Uthia calmed down with the flush. I've never thought of you like that. Oh, Uthia, you don't have to be shy. Well, don't mention it. I know everything about that. You don't know anything. It is Uthia who saved me. Without you, I would die pitifully like that. You see, who can tell you were embarrassed in this situation? The man who felt embarrassed should be me. Wait! Did she just say she was mad? Oh God. At one hand, you were patriotic. At the other, when saved, you were so hurried to flee. I should have been killed without Uthia. He was my lifesaver, but I was afraid to death, and it was really unforgivable to offend him with that kind of words. I patted Uthia's face in the way he did to me. I gazed at her eyes, and Uthia lowered his eyelid. I could probably never take to win from you in my entire life. But you can watch over me, right? Yep, you were so innocent to be an idiot if I don't take good care of you. Uthia trembled her shoulders and cried out. I touched his lips slightly. They keep changing the fucking... Oh my god, the pronouns. Hey, Sam. Coming in for the good part. Oh, shit. After we kissed several times, we didn't leave, and we glanced at each other and smiled slightly. We kissed again. Uthia probed her tongue into my mouth. With his tongue, Uthia touched mine. A thrilling feel came to me, and I wanted to feel more. God. Uthia started to untie my clothes. I didn't stop him. Uthia rose up, looked at my bare chest, and swallowed spittle. Oh, God. I felt ashamed and tried to cover my chest, but I was stopped by Uthia. The mole disappeared. It was great. Uthia licked the place where the mole was and sucked it. I felt stabbing pain and screamed out. The volume of that sound was too high to believe by myself. Uthia kissed on my neck with his hand. Wait. Okay, well, with his hand touching hearing Uthia call my name, I couldn't help contracting all at once. Uthia gave a sharp cry. Did that really fucking happen? Did that just fucking happen? Then I felt something into it. For the first time, I think it's good to be a woman. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh shit. As Uthia said, although the curse was broken, strength seemed not to be restored at once. Exactly, Uthia seemed to hear about it from Marlowe. But as the curse was broken, I did that sort of thing. After that, I seemed to sleep for 3 days. So he fucked her so hard that she slept for 3 days. Then, when I woke up, Marlowe had been released. Everything seemed to have been settled. Finally, without negotiating with Marlowe, I broke the curse. The significance of concealing this matter should come soon. Uthia first scolded me. Finally, he cried and told me he was glad I was okay. I didn't know why I still couldn't be relieved. First of all, the main victim was me. He didn't apologize to me and released Marlowe. What the hell is going on? Although I was going to release Marlowe, I answered my father about this. It seemed that Uthia dealt with it all. My father didn't oppose too, so he was sent away soon. But then, Uthia, how did you pick that flower in the end? After the curse was broken, I was just an ordinary patient. God, I can't talk. I stayed in the infirmary until my strength was restored. I seized the opportunity Uthia visited me, asked him questions that have not been mentioned before. Uthia peeled the apple he brought for me. He beat about the bush. he did, I guess. Oh, yeah, exactly. It was not picked. Uh-huh. It was not so much picking it up as buying it. Uh-huh. I was surprised by his answer. I leaned out of the bed. Uthia took a piece of apple in my mouth. My mouth was blocked by unexpected things. It was impossible to spit it out. I just closed the mouth and chewed it. I just sat back in bed, Uthia said with eyes going round and round. Well, I found information about that kind of flower in the literature. Then, except for what the guy said, I found that it should grow in somewhere else, so I let someone bring it here. That place is quite far away, so it'd still take a lot of time. Literature means, don't you say that you read all the books in the castle but don't find any clues? Where do you find that book? It's at home. Really? The apple was swallowed to somewhere strange. I spat it out. Uthia was scared and rubbed my back, but it was the wrong place. I grabbed Uthia's arm in my back and asked him, Home? You mean your home? Do you have that kind of book in your home? My father and brother are officials. There are many that kind of books. But I'm a little surprised. But even there is no such book in the castle. No, it's not sure. Your home is really not sure. Right. When I was young, I have been to Uthia's home to play several times. His father was different from my father. He was not a knight, but a minister in the castle. Uthia's 2 brothers were also officials. I wondered if it was for this reason that there was a study in Landgelm's house that is larger than the library. Thinking of this, I can probably understand. But to find the target from so many books, it's quite not easy. Actually, I haven't too much feelings for that home. God, is this over yet? I was thinking what he could say while cutting the apple. Uthia muttered like this. My family are knights from generation to generation. For long years ago, I want to be a knight. But my father and brothers are not knights. They are just doing peaceful civilian work. I could not forgive my father for doing that. I detest that man. But I have always envied your father, Artorius. Oh, you think so? So since I became a knight, I haven't been back once. However, in case you might die, should I mind this capricious feeling, thinking it this way, I would investigate my study as if clutching at a straw. Finally, I find it. It's great to decide to see it at that time. So pretty much, yeah. I can't even think. Fuck. Uthia smiled. He handed me the apple. I never knew Uthia had such a knot in his heart. Alright, no problem, Sam. Knight. You popped in for the best part. I'm just saying. We've been encouraging each other to be a knight since I can remember, but I've never known he actually didn't want to be a knight. But as for your father and brother, I don't think so. Possibly that's also a very hard job. Yeah, I finally think so, too. I didn't know my father has been suffering such pain until I knew he is a magician from Commander Artorius. What? Damn it, I was still as stupid as a little child. I know exactly, so it isn't great, I asked. Yep, said Uthia, dying with embarrassment. I kissed his forehead embarrassedly, and Uthia looked at me flushed. But I've never thought that you should admire my dad. You remember, sometimes when Dad came back and took exercises with me, you always came and joined us. Enough of the past. I'm so surprised that you still remember this. Dad has been competing with you all the time, and I don't take this lying down. God. Although he is my dad, he's been lonely. In fact, he's been taking you as his son. I'm his only daughter. I know perhaps he wants a son, although he may not say so. What? Commander Artorius should think of me like this. So you know what's gonna happen? They fucked, and then they're gonna get married. Because clearly, that's a happy ending in otome games. You bang and then you get married. Probably. I haven't taken it lying down from before, and I even cried for being a woman. Alas, you were so young then. I was to talk about it as a joke, but Uthia fell silent after my talk. Oh shit, sure enough, this can never be a joke. When I was about to take that back, Uthia said, Adelaide, I'm so sorry for beating you before. Oh my god. Did he just apologize for beating the shit out of me? I think he did. Oh my god. I got you. Alas, it's all my fault. I went a little overboard. No, I'm sorry for saying that because you are a woman. I'm really sorry. He is a wife beater. I didn't know you thought that. And Uthia lowered his head and said sorry again, and then made a bow. I quickly let him raise up, but Marlowe still looked gloomy. Wait! That's not Marlowe! Marlowe's the fucking magician! Oh god. It's alright, though I was actually very astonished when you were saying that. I'm really, really sorry. I said it's alright, and I also went a little overboard too. And now I feel it nice to beat a woman. Oh god. And this time Uthia was shocked. There, Uthia suddenly looked at my face. Oh god, please, don't let me give all the details. That's really embarrassing. So, if I weren't a woman, me and you, we were not going to be in such kind of a relationship, right? Well, probably not, unless this is a boys' love novel, but... So I think it's not so bad, right? What, you... I know, right? So, like, with her fully clothed, she has no fucking boobs. take the clothes off, and they're fucking melons, okay? I said it myself, and I knew my face turned to be red. So did Uthia? So did Uthia. He just looked at it. His ears turned red, and his body began to tremble slightly. I always thought he was mumbling something, but I couldn't hear it clearly. No, I also think that is very good, you are a woman. It's really very good. Uthia? Well, because I think if you're a woman, that's great. I like you as a woman. I would hope so. You fucked me as a woman. Then Uthia started to kiss me violently. Seriously? Oh god. Uthia suddenly left me, and his eyes were red. It looked like he was going to cry. God. I thought he was so cute, and couldn't help laughing loudly. Strange feeling. I also love you, Uthia. I suddenly kissed Uthia on his flushed cheeks. Uthia stood there nervously and glared at me brutally. I couldn't help laughing loudly for a while, and Uthia was roaring. At this moment, doctors rushed in the room. Of course, that's another story. Ugh! Please tell me it's over. Yeah, it did. Oh, shit. Oh god. I wandered in front of the gate aimlessly. The guard heard my laughing and stopped me. I glared at him strictly, and later he gave a false cough and made a salute. I don't think so. We're almost done. At least with the other games, it's basically you fuck and then it ends. Just come on. Ah, damn it. Whatever you thought, it is okay. Oh, I think this is the last of it. I felt very embarrassed and wandered there again. It was already this time, and the one who I was waiting for finally showed up. The one who showed up, Uthia, as soon as he saw me, he stared at me with his big rounded eyes. When I saw his face, I found the reason why the guard would like to stop me. Shit. Adelaide, why are you here? You are from the expedition. You must be tired. I should come to welcome you. Uthia said and squinted at me awkwardly, but later he turned to me and smiled slightly and said, I come back. Welcome back. Uthia jumped off from the horse and pulled the reins and came to me slowly. He seemed to go to stable. I followed her and said, I heard it from my father, a very troublesome person. And, kind of, but I'll do something about it. Well, really reliable. I should tell it to my father soon. I will tell him today, and I was about to visit father, but Uthia stopped me. I cocked my head, but don't know why Uthia looked for me, and he turned his face very close to me. Before it. He kissed my lips lightly and suddenly. He kissed me actively, but he blushed after the separation. I don't know about Plague Tale. I have the crying is not enough developer begging me to play that now that he patched it, so that might be coming soon. He actually sent me an invite on Steam. If I laughed at him, he must be angry, so I was trying not to laugh and walked fast to catch up with Uthia. Yeah, I know, I heard it's fixed. He actually sent me a friend invite this morning. I'm like, oh shit. I better do this sometime. You have your own method, Uthia. Annoying. You better tell it to my father ASAP. What should I tell him? Uthia looked at me in panic. I felt the change in my mouth and recalled what my father said several days ago. My father told me it is a good idea to let Uthia inherit the name of Diandel. What'd I tell you? They fuck and then they marry. Happily ever after. I was wondering how to deal with it. Haha. Woo. Hello. You said so. It is my own idea. Shouldn't it be real? I pretended to say this and watched Uthia secretly. Uthia blushed. His mouth opened and closed with an expression that he knew all the things. This is a major issue for the future of Diandale's family. I can't judge it myself. And my father would like to play with his grandson. Oh god. What? Grandson? Woo, wait, is she pregnant? You are a little worried about it. I faced to the silent Uthia, pretended to see him through, and said gloomily, this guy really don't know he is reliable. Well, I can't fucking read this shit. Is reliable or unreliable? Just now I thought he was going to kiss me, but he acted like this. That would be a kind of slow. Uthia finally seemed to be recovered because of my words. Please wait for a moment, he cried loudly. If it is not me, then who will be that person? Who the fuck you think is gonna be that person? Well, my father have many friends, so maybe I would find a better person. Don't kidding, are you serious? Well, you can talk about it directly with my father. If you always rely on me, there will be no future. I told him these provocative words, and waited for his reaction. I thought he would be all of a tremble, but he pointed at my nose and said, good, very good. Hey, Adelaide, you can go to the Colonel's office first. I will tie my horse, then go there. Oh, okay, come on, Uthia. I also don't want to marry an unidentified man. I wouldn't either. Woo, let me handle it. Just wait the good news. As soon as I jumped off the horse, Uthia jumped on it and went to the direction where the stable's located at. I looked at his back and went to the Colonel's office. How would Uthia talk to my father? As soon as I thought of it, I would laugh secretly. I walked to Father's waiting room. Please tell me this is the end. Oh, thank fuck! Thank God! Oh, it's over! All of that to get to like 10 minutes of banging. Holy shit. Okay, so this is done. And we're not gonna get to Phil's route. Oh, cause shit, it'll be another fucking hour of reading them romance each other and being boring as hell. I know. Alright, so this is done. This is done. Yeah. Yes, I am very much thinking crying is not enough. Probably next week because I'm getting stalked by the game's developer. So I probably should play it so that I can re-review it if it's any better. So that's it for today, guys. We're done with the Fleursword, which, just saying that name of the title just makes me cringe even more. Thank you for the subs, you guys. Crying is not enough, probably next week. I might stream something on Sunday.